Service of NBC News presents Game 3 for the championship of the National League. From Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, the Eastern Division champs, the Pittsburgh Pirates, versus the Western Division champs, the Cincinnati Reds. It's brought to you by Gillette, makers of the Gillette Track 2 two-bladed shaving system, and by your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, introducing Plymouth Satellite for 1973, built to be seen, not heard. It's a sunny but cool day in Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. A sellout crowd of over 50,000 on hand for Game 3, and the Pirates and Reds are even up as they head into this game. The Pirates won the opening game of their playoff at Pittsburgh, Cincinnati winning yesterday 5-3. I'm Curt Gowdy, along with Tony Kubek. Before the game today, about 2.5 hours, as the Reds came out to start take batting practice, the subject of conversation, everybody in this ballpark, was not on this game, but on the incident that took place in Oakland yesterday when Bert Campaneris threw his bat at Larry LeGros, the Detroit Tiger pitcher. I imagine many of you have seen it. It hits Campaneris on the left ankle. Now he's mad, and he slings his bat. If LeGros had his back to the plate, could have been hit right in the back of the head. Mr. Shylock immediately gets Campaneris over. Billy Martin had to be restrained as he went after Campaneris. Campaneris was ejected from the game, and so was the pitcher LeGros. Today, the president of the American League, Joe Cronin, took the proper action. He has suspended Campaneris for the playoffs. The question is, would Campaneris play in the World Series if Oakland makes it? There is no decision on that yet. That would have to come from the commissioner's office. All the players we talked to believe, as we talked to all the players of the Pirates and Reds here today, that Campaneris should be barred. But that's the story. And Tony, your side of it.
Curt, as a former baseball player in the major leagues, I've always felt that there's a place in baseball for the brush-back pitch. In my opinion, LeGros was trying to brush Campaneris away from the plate. Unfortunately, Campaneris got hit. There's never been a player that has played these games in the major leagues that has not been brushed away from the plate. What LeGros did, and if I were a manager, I wouldn't want my pitchers not to move hitters away from that home plate. What he did, I think, was right. He only knows in his mind whether he intentionally threw at Campaneris. I think he was brushing him back. What Campaneris did, you can't condone in any way, shape, or form. He should be barred. Cronin did the right thing.
All right, well, that's it. Let's get into Game 3. The A's and the Tigers will be meeting tomorrow in Detroit. That game will be the first game of our baseball doubleheader from Tiger Stadium. Then we'll be switching to Game 4 here. Nolan against Bryles, two right-handers today. And we'll be back for the start of this 1972 National League Championship game from Cincinnati between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds.
Hi, Hank. Shaving close for your big close-up, huh?
Yep.
Well, don't cut yourself.
Sam, I don't have to cut myself to shave close. It's the Track 2, the two-bladed razor from Gillette. The blades are recessed, so it's safer.
Recessed? Then how come it shaves so close?
Because it doesn't shave like a one-bladed razor. See, when the first blade shaves your whisker, it stretches it out from the skin for a moment, and before it can snap all the way back, the second blade comes along and can shave it again. Closer.
What if I went back again with my one-blade razor?
You couldn't shave quick enough. Whisker snaps back too fast.
Gee, that's a great shave.
And that's not even my good side.
The Gillette Track 2, the two-bladed razor. Gillette made it one blade better.
The Reds defensive team taking the field position by position as they're being announced to the crowd. Rose in left, Tolan in center, Geronimo in right, Menke at third, Cheney at short, Morgan the second baseman, Perez at first, bench catching, Nolan pitching. The Roger Bacon High School Band is on the field. They've been entertaining here before game time. The national anthem will be sung by Marion Spellman. The breeze today blowing briskly from third base toward first. An ideal fall afternoon. Yesterday in the same stadium, and one advantage of artificial turf is that you can move one game out and another one in. They had a pro football game here yesterday and professional baseball here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are cordially invited to rise and join in the singing of our national anthem with Miss Marion Spellman of Cincinnati's WLW Television.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming as the rockets raced amongst their steaming through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and home of
On your left is Nelson Briles, who won 14 and lost 11, 29 years old. And on your right, Gary Nolan, an excellent earned run average this year, 1.99. He was a 15-game winner. He lost 5. He's had arm troubles the last few weeks of the season. He had an abscessed wisdom tooth pulled, and there was some question about his appearing in the playoffs, but he pitched 5 innings at the end of the regular season, allowed just 1 hit, and they feel his arm is sound again. But he still may be a question mark. Here's the lineup he'll pitch to for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Rene Stennett will be leading off, playing left field. Batting second will be Dave Cash. In right field, hitting third, Roberto Clemente. Willie Stargell is the cleanup man at first base. The hot man for the Pirates in the playoffs. And he enjoyed a spectacular season. Al Oliver in center field. Richie Hebner at third base, batting sixth. Manny Sanguillen is the catcher, hitting seventh. Gene Alley is the shortstop, batting eighth. And Nelson Briles, the pitcher, is batting ninth. Gary Nolan, 24 years old, born in Herlong, California, lives now in Cincinnati. He graduated from Oroville High School, where he had exceptional success as a pitcher for 4 years. He was Cincinnati's first draft choice in the '66 free agent draft. Only 24, and this is his 7th professional season. A line drive bat belongs to this fellow. One of the many outstanding young hitters the Pirates have, and they have a flood of them. Stennett, batting .286 for the season, fouls the first pitch back. In the playoff games, he's 3 for 8.
And you saw Stennett set the pattern for probably this entire ball game for the Pirates. They're a good fastball, first ball hitting club. Basically a high ball hitting team.
Outside, the Pirates come out of that dugout swinging. They had the highest team batting average in the major leagues, hitting .274 as a team. Strike with a fastball. Stennett was born in Panama, lives in Panama City. Fly ball into left center. Bobby Tolan's there for it. And we have one down.
Nolan has an exceptional curveball, throws a lot of breaking pitches. He is not overpoweringly fast, but when you start looking for the breaking ball, he'll be able to throw that fastball by you inside.
Dave Cash hit .282. 3 homers, 30 RBIs. In the playoffs, he's had 1 out of 7. Inside for a ball. Nolan moves the ball around. He has an outstanding change of pace pitch. A slow curve, but his fastball and a slider. Good assortment. There's a strike. And he's had exceptional control this year. On deck is Clemente. Nolan's walked only 1.5 batters every 9 innings. That's exceptional. Ground ball. That's through. The bat broke. And on first is Dave Cash with a single to left.
Nolan really sawed him off inside. Cash with that closed stance. You hit him right on the fist, and the barrel of that bat flew right over our camera into the Pirates' dugout.
Already you'll notice as Clemente steps in, the shadows are covering home plate here. The pitcher coming out of the bright sunshine. Clemente has been blanked in the 2 games. No hits and 7 up. 312 for the year. 10 homers, 60 runs batted in. We asked Sparky Anderson how the Reds were getting him out. He said with luck. So you don't get Clemente out too long.
See if Cash right off the bat challenges that arm of Bench.
Foul back. Cash stole 9 bases in 16 attempts this year. Clemente played to right center by Tolan. Geronimo over toward the right field line. If you watched the World Series last year, you saw him drive a lot of balls deep to right, hit a home run to the opposite field against the Orioles. Power to all fields. Slow curve outside to him.
Home plate umpire Doug Harvey looking down to Billy Williams, the first base umpire, seeing if he could get some help. Williams says no. Clemente did not go.
1-1 to Clemente, 1 down, Cash at first. The Reds had 4 runs in the first inning yesterday. On Saturday, the Pirates jumped off with 3 runs in the first. There goes the runner. Foul ball back. As they were playing hit and run, Cash will have to return to first.
From here, it looked like he had a good jump, too, Curt. Just when you have an arm like Johnny Bench behind the plate. There's Stargell on deck.
One of the interesting duels in this series is between the 2 catchers, Sanguillen and Bench. A lot of arguments as which is the best defensive catcher in baseball. Bench, of course, has many followers. So does Sanguillen. Lou Brock says Sanguillen's harder for him than Bench.
I don't think Sanguillen has the powerful arm that Bench does, but he gets rid of the ball very quickly. Maybe even more so than Johnny Bench.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3, the throw to first, getting back is Cash. Clemente strikes out on a slow curve.
Let's watch it again from our first base viewpoint. Bench with a quick snap throw after Clemente misses the changeup. Cash comes diving back. Cash, even with all his speed, was almost nipped by Bench.
And the power man in that Pirate lineup, Willie Stargell. 1 hit in 6 times in the playoffs. Down at first, Dave Cash wanted to get a piece of the dirt smoothed away. Stargell this year hit 33 homers, knocked in 112 runs. 3rd best in RBIs in the league. Slow curve. This is what Nolan does well, is move that slow curveball around.
Throws it at different speeds. He also throws as a changeup something like a palm ball. So to a left-handed hitter, sometimes it will go down and go away from a left-handed hitter.
And they're playing the shortstop, Cheney, and back at second base again. And they put the second baseman, Morgan, back on the grass in short right field. And the third baseman, Menke's almost in the shortstop hole. 2 strikes to Willie Stargell. Cash starts, doesn't go. Bench throws, and he just got bad. Oh, it looked like they had him cold down there.
Curt, it appeared that Johnny Bench's throw, as he had Cash hung up for a moment between first and second. Here goes Cash. He thought the ball was going farther from Bench than it did. Bench blocked it, kept it in front of him. Now the throw appears to beat him, and I think Cash, by not sliding, which was, he should have slid, he actually decoyed Perez. Perez tagged for his hand coming to the bag, and he sneaked around him.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Willie Stargell. First inning, no score. Dave Cash at first, 2 down. Check swing, ball 2, 2-2. Doug Harvey behind the plate. Billy Williams at first. John Kibler at second. Harry Wendelstedt at third. Augie Donatelli working the left field line. And Ken Burkhart the right field line. Two strikeouts that inning for Gary Nolan. No runs for the Pirates. 1 hit. There were no errors. 1 left. We're coming up now to the last of the first. The Reds will be at bat.
So you found a new pad and you're moving your stuff. Well, that's okay. This car's enough. Plymouth Space Duster. You can get a fold-down seat here in the back. Gives you 6.5 feet of space to pack. Whatever you got to pack in the back. Fully carpeted. Seat folds up, too. With a roof that opens on a country ride, don't cost much extra. Lets the sun inside. Crank shut, too, nice and tight, because the sun don't shine very much at night. Of course, everybody knows that. Plymouth Space Duster. You can get more out of it, because you can get more into it. Plymouth Duster. Extra care and engineering. It makes the difference.
Nelson Briles with his warm-up pitches. Here's the Cincinnati batting order. Pete Rose leading off in left field. Joe Morgan at second. Bobby Tolan in center field hitting third. Johnny Bench catching, cleanup man. Tony Perez at first base batting fifth. Dennis Menke at third base hitting sixth. Cesar Geronimo in right field batting seventh. Darrell Cheney, the shortstop, hitting eighth. And Gary Nolan pitching and batting ninth. Nelson Briles, 29 years old, won 14, lost 11 this year, an earned run average of 3.08. He ended the season with a 4-game losing streak. They were all well-pitched games, though, losing 1-0, 3-0, 1-0, and 4-3. He lost 3 games this year by 1-0 scores, all to the Mets. They pitched a big game in the World Series last year. A 2-hitter. Pete Rose, switch hitting, leading off. Ball 1 to him. Rose just short of the goal he sets every year, 200 hits. He had 198 hits to lead the league. 11 triples for Pete and a batting average of 307. He's the perennial 300 hitter in a big league. 8 years in a row, he has batted 300 or better.
You'll see Richie Hebner, the third baseman for the Pirates, up in front of that bag quite often in this ballgame with that speed in the first 3 hitters.
There's a line shot by Rose. It's cut off by Al Oliver. Rose is coming. Here's a throw. He hits it. He's in there.
Watch it again. Here comes Rose diving head first. His trademark. Very alert base running as he saw that the ball was hit to the glove side of Oliver. He had to turn all the way around.
Now, Rose, you saw watching where that ball goes. Oliver cut the ball off well. This is just sheer hustle. And look at that belly slide. And the sellout crowd loved it here in Cincinnati. A hometown boy, Pete Rose.
There's Oliver, the center fielder. He's turned out to be a good center fielder, has a pretty good arm, and can really go get him.
Runner on second, nobody out. Joe Morgan. What a year he's had. Strike to him. He's hit a home run in each game. Controversial trade last winter between Houston, Cincinnati. The Reds fans didn't like it. Now they're glad their general manager, Bob Howsam, made it. 292 for Morgan this year. 16 homers and 73 runs batted in. And 58 stolen bases. They got him for his speed, to help the attack, and he did just that. They'll be trying to move this runner over. Pops it foul, back out of play. Strike two. You watch Joe Morgan at the plate. He flaps that elbow like a chicken wing a couple of times. When he's really confident and relaxed, he tells me he flaps it twice. If he's nervous, he'll flap it 4 or 5 times. Watch his left elbow now. Yeah, he's a little nervous 3 times. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Joe says that he used to have that elbow close to his body, and Nellie Fox said that he was tying himself up too much, couldn't get those hands out quickly enough. So he had Joe trying to move that elbow away from the body, but the natural tendency keeps wanting to pull it back in.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Check swing foul, count holds. Rose is at second, nobody out. Last of the first inning, no score, and comebacking Bobby Tolan on deck.
Briles, like Nolan, has a good curveball, but it's a harder one. He also has a good straight change. And last year in the series games you talked about a while ago, Curt, he showed a real good fastball, something that the Orioles didn't think he had.
2-2. If Briles finds a pitch early in the game, maybe a slow curve, maybe a fastball he's spotting, or a slider, he'll ride that pitch to death the rest of the way until it doesn't work for him anymore. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. The count is 2-2. Dribbled foul. Sellout crowd today. In Pittsburgh, they had over 50,000 for each game. The crowds in Oakland were disappointing. Only 31,000 there yesterday.
29 the first day.
I imagine in Detroit tomorrow will be a sellout crowd. Detroit's long been one of the great baseball cities in the country, behind their Tigers. They'll probably have 51,000 there. 54 maybe. He's out on a curve that had him tied up inside.
I think in that one game against Boston, Detroit had, 56,000, about 4,000 standing room.
That was the game Tuesday night. They clinched. Bobby Tolan coming back from 2 Achilles tendon operations. Wound up the year hitting .283 with 8 homers, 82 RBIs. And to show his complete recovery, he stole 42 bases. Foul ball back. It's odd how every player has his different stance, different way of getting ready for the pitch. Tolan holds that bat so high you don't think he could ever be ready.
Talk about Yastrzemski holding the bat way up there. Watch Bobby Tolan. Also stands very erect. Hardly any flexing at the knees or hips. Let those hands go way up above his head. They'll come down as that pitch comes on the way.
Rounds it to first base. Stargell on the bag, 2 down. Rose moves to third. Johnny Bench getting a hand, and how the tides of fate can change. Last year he was booed in this ballpark consistently, so much so that he was angry, frustrated at the end of the year. This year he's come back with 40 homers to lead the majors, 125 RBIs to lead the major leagues. A prime candidate for most valuable player of the year in the National League. An award he won year before last. And he is still not past 25 years of age. Ball 1. Johnny Bench was the youngest player to ever win the National League Most Valuable Player Award. He was 22. Stan Musial won it when he was 22, but he was about 3 weeks older at that time than Johnny. Rose at third, 2 down. Browse trying to tease him with that breaking pitch. The on-deck batter is Tony Perez. His first 5 batters in this Reds lineup are murder. Rose, Morgan can get on base. They can run. Tolan can pull the ball behind them. Then you have the 2 big power guys, Bench and Perez. Those 5 in a row are something to pitch against. The rest of the order, of course, not nearly as potent.
Ooh.
2 balls and a strike to Johnny Bench. The Pirates, I'd say, down through the order have more batting punch all the way through and in the dugout.
They've got a lot of speed and average hitters sitting on that bench for the Pirates. Kleins, Davalillo. Bench also has gotten a pretty good eye at the plate. He had 100 bases on balls this year. Joe Morgan led the club with 115.
Foul, 2-2. One Pirate player we won't see today, Jose Pagan. He left at 11 o'clock this morning. His mother died and he had to return home. He flew to Puerto Rico today.
So far this ball game, both pitchers' sides, is turning out to be a breaking ball contest.
The count is 2-2. Rams it foul.
A lot of people last year felt, as we look at Rose down at third base, felt that Bench was trying to pull the ball too much, especially with 2 strikes. He was still getting out in front, and they were getting him out on breaking balls. He was hitting the ground ball to the left side. On occasion this year, he's gone to the opposite field. He feels it's helped his hitting. Ted Kluszewski, of course, the hitting coach for Cincinnati, has worked with Johnny Swing.
They play very deep in the infield for Bench, who's a slow man going to first. And they're shifted way over toward left in the outfield. Little nubber to the mound. Briles with his off-balance throw. Scooped up by Scargill. The side's retired. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. At the end of the first inning, no score.
If you're using a regular grade gasoline, when you're pulling a load, your car knocks and pings, so you slow down and lose power. Or if you're using a regular grade gasoline and your car starts all right, but then when you stop and shift gears, stalls out sometimes, try Super Regular from Shell. Shell combined high-octane components of a super gasoline with the good drivability components of a modern regular. Result? Shell Super Regular, designed to give you more octane and better protection against engine knock than the average or ordinary regular, and to help prevent annoying stallouts. Step up to Shell's low-lead Super Regular. You may never settle for ordinary regular again. Shell products perform.
At 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow, Game 3 for the American League Championship, the Oakland Athletics against the Detroit Tigers from Tiger Stadium. Ken Holtzman will be pitching for Oakland and Joe Coleman for the Tigers. They're both 19-game winners. Then right after that game is over, we'll come here to Cincinnati. This game will be in progress. And we'll pick up the Reds and the Pirates the rest of the way. So it's a playoff doubleheader on NBC tomorrow starting at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
Interesting to see if the Tigers' great shortstop, Eddie Brinkman, will be ready to play, and whether or not Billy shakes that lineup up, tries to get Freehand's bat back in the lineup against Holtzman.
Al Oliver, so far the batting star of this playoff for the Pirates, has had 4 hits, and 9 times he's had a single, a triple, a homer, and 3 RBIs. 1 ball, 1 strike. He hit .312 this year with 12 homers, 89 runs batted in. He hits a lot of balls in the gap for doubles. He had 27 doubles. 2 balls and a strike. He was platoon, like Richie Hebner up until this year. Now they're both playing all the way against right-handers and left-handers. They're both young, and they can both hit. He hits a high fly in the left field. Over toward the line is Pete Rose. 1 down. Richie Hebner enjoyed a .300 batting season. He cracked out 19 homers and had 72 RBIs. He was platoon the first 2 months of the year also, but he's the regular third baseman now.
Hebner at one time hit a lot of balls to left field, especially against left-handed pitchers where he'd give in a little bit. He's begun to pull the ball more with more authority, of course.
Curveball that he hits in the air to Geronimo in right. 2 down. And here comes the happy man up, Manny Sanguillen. 1 hit and 5 times in the 2-game playoff. He had a bad year this year. He hit .298. 7 homers, 71 runs batted in. Always got that grin on his face. From Panama, he's just happy to be at a ballpark. The swiftest running catcher in baseball. Enjoyed an exceptional World Series against the Orioles. Strike 1.
In this ball game today, Curt, we've got some of the greatest throwing arms in baseball, not only between Sanguillen and Bench, but Geronimo in right field, Clemente in right, and Willie Stargell also with a tremendous throwing arm.
Bounding ball to second. Easy hop for Joe Morgan. Quick 1-2-3 inning. Pirates are down. At the end of an inning and a half. 0-0.
A Chrysler has always been an automobile with a tradition of performance on the open road. It was an automobile that faced the challenge of Le Mans and saw victory in 56 Grand National competitions. Today, the tradition continues with electronic ignition in this 73 Chrysler Newport, a Chrysler more people can afford.
Chrysler Newport. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
This whole project has to be done by 9 a.m.
It's going to be tight.
No, a power fade.
Oh, great.
That's all my stomach needed. Welcome to the Acid Club. Rolaids, huh?
The Acid Club. Anywhere aggravation causes acid indigestion, but Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess acid.
Indigestion gone?
It won't relieve the aggravation, but Rolaids can help you resign from the Acid Club.
The coaches for the Reds. Shermer coaching at first. George Sugar, and over at third is Alex Grannis. Tony Perez, Dennis Menke, Cesar Geronimo. Scheduled up for the Reds in the last of the second against Nelson Bryles. Perez hit .283 this year. Off-speed pitch for a strike. Perez had 21 homers, 90 RBIs. Low home run production for him. Had a bad hand, left hand that's plagued him all year. That he says has taken away some of his power. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pirates in the outfield really bunch him towards center field. They give him the line. Clemente is over toward right center. Stennett toward left center.
2 balls, 1 strike. On deck, Dennis Menke. This is the 6th year for Tony Perez, coming up with 90 or more runs batted in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. These fellows are both pitching with almost the same pattern, Tony.
A lot of breaking balls. Bryles' curveball is much harder. Nolan likes to take something off that curveball, change speeds with it. Bryles will also throw you a slider on occasion.
3-2. Those empty seats you see, those are not sold. Those are used for football, but they're not used for the baseball part. All the seats are sold out here today. Beautiful stadium. In fact, both clubs owning brand new stadiums. Down and away, and Bryles fell down.
He'll do that every so often when he tries to get a little extra effort into a pitch, as he did that hard slider to Perez.
Wonder if he'll do his imitation of President Nixon. I want to make things perfectly clear why I fell down. He can really imitate. He's been on the nightclub circuit. Dennis Menke hit .235, 9 homers, 50 runs batted in. Fastball for a strike. 0-0. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in the last of the second.
Several hitters have asked to see the ball from both teams, and I think it might be, Curt, because that shadow is starting to reach out across home plate toward the pitcher's mound. Makes the ball look a little dark.
1-1. On deck is Cesar Geronimo. No relation to the Geronimo from Arizona. 2 balls, 1 strike. Check the swing and pops it up. Browse says, come on, Hebner, you take it, and Hebner has it. 2 down. Geronimo batted .275. Sparky Anderson thinks this fella has a chance to be... Thinks he's just now starting to come, Tony. He has a chance to be an outstanding Major League ball player. He also thinks he has the strongest throwing arm in baseball.
He's kind of a throw-in in that deal with Houston, but they expect big things of him here. I think he's the next Bobby Tolan.
24 years old, from the Dominican Republic. And he pops it up in the shallow left. Gene Alley, the shortstop, inside the line for it. And Briles breezes through the last of the second. At the end of 2 innings in Cincinnati, it is 0-0.
What a day. I had this heartburn. She says, do yourself a favor. I said, listen, it'll go away. She says, do yourself a favor. I said, what, a little acid, a little heartburn? She says, do yourself a favor, take some Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer neutralizes all the acid your stomach has churned out. For acid indigestion or headache, take Alka-Seltzer and feel better fast.
Do yourself a favor, take Alka-Seltzer.
It's all right with a blueberry. With a blueberry, you're going to get a half a tea, a piece of wine. Besides, it would take you 2 boxes of blueberries to write 1 postcard. That's how small they are. If you must write with a fruit, write with a Bic banana. A smooth writing fine line marker beauty. It comes in a lot more colors than a blueberry, and it costs a lot less money than a car. 29 cents. The Bic banana.
And those are the names of the umpires assigned to today's game.
As in the American League, a veteran crew being chosen by League President Charlotte Feeney.
Batting in the number 8 position for Pittsburgh is Gene Alley. Nelson Briles behind him, then to the top of the order, and Rene Stennett. Nolan's pitch is hit in the air to right. Geronimo waiting for it. 1 down. Nelson Briles hit 183 this year. Each team has had 1 hit. The Reds have had the only threat. Rose led off the first with a double, but was stranded. The strike. Strike 2 with a fastball, 0-2. Nolan's had any arm problems. He certainly doesn't show it here. He's throwing easy, smooth rhythm. Curve is beat foul. 0-2 to Nelson Briles.
I'm sure Gary was very happy, and as was Sparky Anderson, to see him get by that first inning. Anytime you come off an arm injury, or any kind of injury for that matter, you kind of feel your way for an inning or 2. Nolan says he's 100% healed, but you're still a little bit leery to let it all loose.
2 out, bases empty. Check that, 1 out, bases empty. Outside. The Pirates, a strong hitting team, have not given Briles a run while he's been in the game in his previous 4 starts. 29 innings in a row now they haven't scored for him. 1-2 pitch. Struck out on a bad pitch. 3 strikeouts for Nolan. Top of the order, Rene Stennett. Fly to center field his first time. This kid hit high in the 300s his last 2 years in the minors. They didn't know whether he'd stick this year. He's just such a good hitter, though. They had to make a place for him. There's a line drive to left. And the Pirates have a couple of youngsters named Sisk and Parker on their way up. They tell me are outstanding. I don't see how they can keep them off the club next year.
They talk about Manny Sanguin hitting bad pitches or swinging at them. The ball was underneath Stennett's chin, high and inside, and he lined it over short.
Dave Cash singled his first time. 2 down, Stennett at first. Strike to him. No score, 3rd inning.
Cash hits the ball well to right field and right center. It'll be interesting to see if Stennett goes. Who's going to be covering the bag? Cheney or Morgan? Probably go by pitches. Fastball, he's more likely to hit the right field. It'll be the shortstop. A breaking ball, he's more likely to pull it. It'll be Morgan.
Beautiful curveball. Nothing into. That one rolled off the end of the table.
There's Sparky Anderson. Alongside Alex Gramis, his third base coach.
No balls, 2 strikes. Hit the shortstop. Cheney flipping to Morgan for the force play at second on Stennett. Sides out. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, 1 left. We're going to the last of the 3rd. It is 0-0.
I wouldn't use an antiperspirant if I didn't have to, but I have to. I perspire. It's just that a lot of antiperspirants smell artificial. But not this new one. It's new Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant. It smells light, clean, like after a shower, and it helps keep me dry all day. New Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant. I like the way it works. I like the way it smells.
Introducing the Roughnecks. Shaving leaves their necks rough and irritated, but now for the Roughnecks, a special kind of Gillette Foamy. Face Saver, with 25% more lubricants for better protection against shaving irritation. Face Saver looks different, feels different. Feel the way your razor glides over even the most sensitive part of your face, your neck. So if shaving irritates your neck, get Foamy Face Saver for the Roughnecks.
When you get out of the sunshine, it's cool here today. And a sweater or a light topcoat feels comfortable. In the sun, it's glorious. Darrell Cheney's been a surprise with a bat for the Reds. He's won the shortstop job. A switch hitter, his seasonal average .250. In the first 2 playoff games, no hits in 6 times. Gary Nolan to follow him, and then Pete Rose at the top of the order. Third baseman Hebner playing tight. Smashing to right for a base hit. Each team now has 2 hits. And Nolan will be up, and the Pirates looking for the bunt. Now Cheney swung that bat with authority, didn't he?
Nelson Bryles' fastball looked like it was low and inside. One thing you notice when you hit a ball hard to right field, you don't loaf down to first base with Clementi's arm. He's just the kind of guy who will try and throw you out down there with that gun.
And they're crawling up from third and first. Out of the reach of Stargell, who was charging. A strike to Gary Nolan.
Looked like he had a pretty good pitch to bunt down low in the strike zone. Ordinarily, a pitcher in a sure bunt situation will try and throw a ball high, get that hitter to try and pop it up.
You know, we may have a different audience today, Tony, here on a weekday afternoon. We're usually on Saturdays or Monday nights. We may have some new fans. Maybe some of the soap opera fans are looking on. And they're looking at an artificial turf surface that's unusual. There's a pop-up. Back of the plate, Sanguillen has it. If you take a look at this field, it's the only artificial turf surface that there's no skin part of the infield here. The dirt's only around the bases. The rest of it is all carpeting. All right, it's the top of the Reds' batting order, and Pete Rose is up. He doubled the left center, and he doubled on sheer determination, stretching what normally would be a single for most batters into a double.
Cheney down at first base, not much of a base stealer, but Rose with pretty good bat control, and Sparky might start him to try and get a hole for Rose in that infield.
Runner going, hit to Stargell, boots the ball, makes the play to his pitcher, Briles, and he's there. And Briles had to stab at that bag. His timing was thrown off when Stargell bobbled the ball as he came over to cover. That moves Cheney to second, putting the hit and run on. Joe Morgan up, struck out his first time. This is the second scoring threat the Reds have had.
Pete Rose had the shortstop Gene Alley covering on the steal attempt. Briles threw him the inside curveball. I know Pete was shooting that way, but he couldn't get barrel of that bat trailing to hit it in that direction.
Strike on the inside corner to Morgan. Cheney at second. 2 out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Morgan wound up second in the majors to Lou Brock in stolen bases. Brock had 63 to lead the National League. Morgan 58. Campaneris won the American League base stealing championship with 52. 1 ball, 1 strike. A drive down the right field line, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Joe Morgan.
Curt, I was watching Joe Morgan's position in the batter's box. He appears to have moved closer toward Briles this time up. And I think he's been getting a lot of breaking balls that Briles has been throwing. Maybe he's trying to catch them while they're still high in the strike zone before they get that full break.
Morgan will be a strong candidate for most valuable player honors also. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He hits the line drive for a base hit. Here's Clemente throwing, and it is not in time. Cheney scores.
As softly as the ball was hit, let's watch Cheney breaking around third base. It did not appear that Clemente would have almost no chance at all. But makes it close at the plate as Sanguillen tries to block Cheney in his slide. Great throw by Clemente all the way on the fly. But he doesn't get him.
Well, Joe Morgan, there's Clemente. Joe Morgan continues to be the damaging man for the Reds against these Pirates. He's knocked in 1 run every game now, and they're already yelling, go, go. He's at first. Perfect setup for him, 2 down. Bobby Tolan's the batter. He grounded out his first time. A ball. Van Veen poised, ready to throw if he had to.
Quite an advantage for a hitter to have a base-stealing threat like Morgan on, you're going to see mostly fastballs. They like to throw breaking balls. They're usually thrown low. It's more difficult for a catcher to come up throwing. Takes them a little more time. You lay back and wait for the fast one.
1 ball, no strikes. There he goes. This is low, and Sanguillen can't get out of it.
Let's watch Joe again. Like Campaneris, he can outrun the ball. Tolan did a good job of blocking the view of the catcher Sanguillen, waving his bat out in front, afforded some protection as the ball popped out of Sanguillen's glove.
Morgan at second, 2 down, 1 run in. The Reds lead 1-0. 2-1. The Reds handled the Pirates during the year. They beat them 8 out of 12 in the regular season. And they came into this playoff with some extra confidence because of that success. Curved him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Reds won 4 and lost 2 in each ballpark here and in Pittsburgh this year. Two out. Joe Morgan at second. 2-2 to Bobby Tolan. And he's got a base hit to center. Here comes Morgan in to score. The throw's cut off by Stargell. Nobody covering first. Tolan in the rundown. And is tagged by Gene Alley, the shortstop. Stargell properly cut the ball off. It was yelled for by Sanguillen. Cut it off, cut it off. Stargell made his play to the second baseman, Cash, ran him back to Stargell, then Stargell to Alley, who made the tag. But 2 runs for the Reds. 3 hits, there were no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 3, it's 2-0 Cincinnati.
Leaving your friends is a little tough sometimes, but you've got to follow the ocean. It's like life. You take it as far as you can, and there's no turning back. Because one chance is all you get to live it. So you look for gusto everywhere you can. Even in your beer. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
This is a Plymouth engine plant, and every engine built here goes through this engine function tester. It finds problems that people don't find. That's the kind of thing that makes the 73 Fury run better inside while it looks better outside. Isn't that the kind of car we've all been looking for?
Plymouth Fury. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
That's Willie Stargell in the on-deck circle. Roberto Clemente is scheduled to lead off for the Pirates in the 4th. While we're waiting for Clemente, Michael Landon joins guests Steve Allen, Cass Elliott, Della Reese, and Henry Youngman on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on NBC. Bill Burden, who stepped into the toughest job in baseball this year, replaced Danny Murtaugh, who retired. All Murtaugh did was win the World Championship, and all Burden was expected to do is repeat.
Murtaugh still pretty active in this Pirates organization, scouting the minor leagues, doing some advanced scouting, looking at possible trades, helping Joe Brown out.
Clemente struck out his first time. The Reds are out in front 2-0 as we head to the 4th. A strike for the fastball. Roberto Clemente, one of 7 players now to own 3,000 or more hits in his career. 11 players. He hasn't had a hit in his last 9 times up since getting that 3,000th hit. That curve is high, and Nolan didn't like the call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Clemente, Stargell, and Oliver, the heart of the Pirate batting order in the fourth. One ball, 2 strikes.
Pitching him inside. It's interesting. Last year, you recall, in the World Series, the Baltimore Orioles tried to pitch him away, and he killed him to right field. Nolan's going inside.
That was an outside pitch. Bad pitch.
I don't think you can pitch any great hitter in one particular way. You've got to move the ball around, because sooner or later that hitter's going to set you up. He may look bad on an outside curveball, and Clemente does it a lot of times, but then he'll start leaning that way, going the opposite direction.
And he's also a bad ball hitter. Just a piece of it. 2-2 to Roberto Clemente. Always acts like he got up in the morning with an arthritic neck and back.
He doesn't throw, run, or swing the bat like he's got anything wrong with him.
Not at his age. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He hammers that one into right center and is sinking in for a base hit. Rolls to the fence. Clemente's coming to second and has a stand-up double to lead off the fourth. And he has his first hit of the playoffs.
Had a chance to see how that artificial surface in the outfield affects the ball. It gets by these outfielders very quickly. There you see the catcher bench setting up outside. Clemente has that extreme knee cock, the front foot. Pitch that looked like it may have been bad, down low, almost where bench called for it.
That was the 3rd hit for Pittsburgh. The Reds have 4 hits. And this is the first time the Pirates now have had a man in scoring position. Willie Stargell struck out his first time. Stargell did not have a good playoff last year or a World Series, and he hasn't hit too well so far in this playoff. He curved him for a strike.
Nolan curve is equally effective against right or left-handed hitters as it breaks primarily straight down when he comes over the top.
Pop up in the left. Going out is Cheney. Coming on is the left fielder Rose. Takes it, 1 down. That's the Sunfield out there today. Al Oliver flied out his first time. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRGB Schenectady, where Bob McNamara brings you sports weeknights at 6 and 11.
Curt Gowdy and Tony Kubek back in Cincinnati. A strike to Oliver. Al Oliver flied to left his first time. The Reds have 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. The Pirates, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. We're in the 4th inning, game 3 of the National League playoff. 3 out of 5 in each league. Oakland is 2 games up on the Tigers. Foul ball here. The series will finish here in Cincinnati. The American League Series will finish in Detroit. The World Series will open October 14th in the National League City, either Pittsburgh or Cincinnati. A Saturday the 14th. NBC will start its telecast at 12:30 Eastern Time. Saturday and Sunday in the National League, and on to either Oakland or Detroit. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night in the American League. If it's in Detroit, it would be 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And the same in Oakland. Strike 3, Oliver's out.
That appeared to be that palm ball Nolan uses as a changeup. Had good motion, and the ball was in a good spot down low and away and moved away like a screwball almost from Al Oliver.
Richie Hebner went after the first pitch, hit a curveball to right, flying out in the 2nd inning. 2 down. Clemente still at second. Nolan has struck out 4, no walks.
You know, Curt, after Nolan threw that last pitch, I saw him reach down and grab one of his legs, like the back of one of his thighs. I'm wondering if he didn't maybe get a twinge of pain from a pull. He's trying to take a little time now and get a little breather.
He last pitched on Tuesday of last week, going just 5 innings, allowing 1 hit and no runs. A ball. That was a test for him. after his ailing arm problem. He's made only 6 starts since the All-Star game. Hasn't pitched a complete game since the All-Star game. 2 balls and no strikes. This is the first batter he's really been behind on. Just as Blue Moon Odom displayed yesterday, outstanding control. That's what Nolan's had today. 2 balls, no strikes. Three and nothing to Richie Hebner. Manny Sanguillen waiting on deck. Third base coach Frank Oshiak sending up a sign. They gave him the green light. 3-1.
Even on 3-0, Nolan was pitching carefully. He appeared to take a little bit of something off his fastball. Hebner stands very close to the plate with an open stance. He can reach the outside part very easily.
Foul. 3-2 to Richie Hebner. 2 out. Clemente will go back to second. The Reds are leading 2-0 in the 4th inning.
Hebner's up to saying himself, on 3-0, he took a little off his fastball. 3-1, he threw me a breaking ball. What do I look for now?
Johnny Bench looking around. Bench very poised, looked around, see if he wouldn't stumble over anything. Flipped his mask away, wanted to see where the umpire was, and then took the foul pop to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 3.5, 2-0 Cincinnati.
When Grandfather made this chair, he didn't get the legs quite even. That nick on the back there is Uncle Joe throwing his choo-choo at your mother. The cigarette burn on the arm is the night you were born. And now that you're going to move it across the country, wouldn't you like to know that the people who move it know how you feel about it? Allied Van Lines. We move families, not just furniture.
Greg, can't you be more careful? No headache is going to make me yell at my son.
When headache pain and the tension it can build bring out the worst in you, take Anacin. Watch. Anacin starts with as much pain reliever as the leading aspirin tablet, then adds an extra core of this specific ingredient against pain. Her headache's gone, and so's its tension.
Anacin did it again.
Anacin relieves headache pain, and so its tension. Anacin.
Be with us for the start of the World Series next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Either Pittsburgh or Cincinnati. Saturday and Sunday, open date Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. Open date Friday, on the game 6 and 7 if needed. October 21st, 22nd, back in the National League City. Johnny Bench tapped out to the pitcher in his initial time. A ball to him. Bench, Perez, and Menke. Strike 1-1. Nelson Briles on August 22nd this year, pitching at San Francisco, missed a perfect game, allowing only 1 base runner. There's a base hit down the left field line. That ball's in the corner. Stennett can't get it. Bench may come for 3. Here he is, and he's in with a triple. The ricochet got away from Stennett in the left field corner.
It's a little spot that juts out down that third base line. Stennett thought that it might hit it and bound out more into the playing field. He really had a battle going into that wall. He tried to block it with his knee, tried to dig it out.
Here's a quick look now. That ball's by the third baseman.
Just gets by that little jutting out spot.
It went right by Stennett and foul ground. Infield in for Pittsburgh. Van Gien had to block that pitch. And we're going to get some warm-up action. Bob Miller and Luke Walker are starting to warm up for Pittsburgh. Runner on third. Bases have been occupied by the Reds in every inning since the second. They're leading 2-0. And here they are threatening again. Doug Harvey wants to look at the ball. The count 2-0 to Perez. Now he's saying something to Briles.
I don't know if he's warning him for doing something to the baseball.
The umpires have been as much in the news as the players. Ken Burkhardt at Pittsburgh. Nestor Shylock yesterday. Where experience helps in these umpiring staffs in the playoffs and the World Series. Perez chasing that 2-0 pitch. 2-1.
Say one thing in Oakland yesterday, mentioning those umpires. Nestor Shylock, certainly, he was the home plate umpire, kept things cool, prevented anything further from happening.
He was right on it. Here's a high fly. The left Stennett looking up at the sun has lost the ball. Gene Alley, a remarkable play. Stennett never saw the ball in left field. Lost it completely. He laid back, and Alley made a remarkable play going deep out there with his back to the plate.
Stennett actually, Curt, broke back and started toward the running track. He never did see it as that sun is perched right above these first base stands, glaring right down in his eyes. Great play by Alley.
Well, Bench is still on third, 1 out. And Dennis Menke up. He popped up his first time. The infield stays in. If they can, they get a play on Bench. They'll try and cut him off.
Briles pitching from the stretch. He wants to keep Bench as close to third base as he can. In the event that Menke could be squeezing.
Ball 1. Really a pitch out. One down, Johnny Bench at third. I think he choked up in that handle. He'll try and get a piece of it somehow. Serve is ball 2. Bench. Third baseman Hebner. Even with a bag. This is a 2-0 pitch coming up. That's the fastest pitch Briles has thrown.
Menke was looking for the fastball in the 2-0 situation. There's Gramis giving some more signs. You can bet that those Pirate coaches in the dugout are peering out. There's always some man on the coaching staff who's adept at stealing signals.
2 balls, 1 strike. 3-1. Neither pitcher has walked a man.
See Don Osborne, that was number 42, roaming up and down the dugout. See now if Briles will challenge Menke once again with that fastball.
3-1 pitch. He did. 3-2.
the ability to reach back and get a little bit extra in tough situations.
Tomorrow's pitcher will be Ross Grimsley for Cincinnati and Doc Ellis for the Pirates. Grimsley a left-hander, Ellis a right-hander. 3-2 pitch to Dennis Menke. Walked him. Riles fell down again. If he falls down in a bunt, he'll be in trouble.
You watch Riles again. Almost leaped to the ground as though somebody had thrown a bomb in front of him.
Bill Burden is coming out now. Left-handed batter Cesar Geronimo is scheduled up. Bill Burden, they're talking about matching Danny Murtaugh's record. Burden's team this year won their division going away by 11 games over the Cubs. Last year, the Pirates won their division by 7 games.
Burton has Luke Walker, a left-hander that should be ready, along with Bob Miller, the right-hander. It appears, Curt, to me that Riles is throwing the ball pretty well. Nope, he's calling for a relief pitcher. Or is he? Did he just signal to get Hebner in to talk to him? Call Hebner over.
Looked like he pointed to the bullpen.
Call Hebner in to tell him to be alive. Geronimo still might try to bunt.
Burden was a Pittsburgh coach the last 4 seasons. He played the outfield in the majors for 11 years for the Cardinals and the Pirates. He managed the San Juan club in Puerto Rico last winter, and he won the pennant there. Trying to win another pennant now in the major leagues of the United States.
Started out in the farm system of the Yankees.
1 out. Runners on first and third. Cincinnati leading Pittsburgh 2-0 in the last of the 4th inning. They back up at short and second and foul out of play. They'll go for the double play now, if possible, down the middle, and they have Hebner in tight at third, with Stargell holding at first, and the outfield playing Geronimo to pull to right field.
Hebner's going to have to use a lot of judgment on the ball hit to him. If he does not think he can get a double play, he'll hang that runner bench up off third base if he can.
A ball and a strike to Cesar Geronimo. Fouls it back. 1-2. Bench led off the inning with a triple. Perez popped the shortstop. Near disaster for the Pirates when Stennett, the left fielder, never saw the ball as it left the bat, and Alley had to go back out for it and deep left field for a shortstop. And Menke walked. The count right now is a ball and 2 strikes to Cesar Geronimo. Two balls, 2 strikes to him.
You know, I find myself with men on third base and less than 2 outs, almost wishing for a ball to hit to Clemente. I love to see him throw so.
Two balls, 2 strikes. There's a fly ball to left that should score a run. Maybe. Let's see. Stennett grabs it. Bench is coming on. The throw. Great throw! Double play! What a throw by Rene Stennett! Crowding the line, and how he unloaded that ball.
And he had a long run to get to it with a left-handed hitter. Geronimo hit almost down the line. He's an ex-infielder. Watch him get rid of the ball on the move. Great throw right down the line. Bench with a good jump, although not very good speed. And he had him by a mile. Great throw by Stennett.
Can't ask for any better execution than that. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left at the end of 4 innings. The score.
Hey, what's the holdup? Anyone hurt? Nah. truck jackknife.
We'll be here for hours. My stomach can't take this.
Welcome to the Acid Club.
Rolaids, huh?
The Acid Club. Anywhere acid indigestion heartburn brings people together. But Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess acid.
How's your stomach now?
Rolaids won't move that truck, but it can help you resign from the Acid Club.
Two guys are out to get your car. First, it's winter. He wants to freeze you to death. Then comes summer. He wants to boil you over. But you can beat them both with Prestone 2 Winter-Summer Formula. Fights winter freeze, fights summer boil over. Prestone 2 with its patented new anti-corrosion formula. If you can't trust Prestone, who can you trust? Sorry, boys. No riders.
That's Roberto Clemente wiping his face. Seated next to him is the young man, 22-year-old Rene Stennett, who made that perfect strike to the plate to wrap up a double play. Here's Johnny Bench coming in. He's not the fleetest man in the major leagues, but this took a perfect throw to get him. That could wind up as a big play in this game.
Home plate umpire Doug Harvey really took a good close look at it. Made sure Sanguin hadn't dropped the ball.
All right, it's the Pirate fifth inning. Bottom third of their order. Sanguin, Alley, Briles, and here's Tony Kubek.
Sanguin 0 for 1 in the ball game. Hits this one deep to left field. Rose drifting back. Home run for Sanguin.
Manny Sanguin is more of a line drive hitter. He hit only 7 homers all year. And Bill Verdon says that if he really wanted to go for home runs, he could hit over 30 a year. But he tries to spray the ball around with line drives.
He's such an extreme first ball hitter. They don't usually throw him strikes on the first pitch. Alley goes after a fastball for a strike. So it's Reds 2, Pirates 1. Top of the 5th inning. Breaking ball too high. 1-1. Gary Nolan, who has really dazzled the Pirates so far until that Sanguin home run, has really changed speeds well on his curveball. Fastball. Alley pops it up to short left. Rose, sunglasses down. He's got it. 1 out in the 5th. It'll bring up Nelson Briles.
Briles batting now. He was nearly out of this ball game.
Briles had gone 33 innings against the Pirates without giving up a run. Let me correct myself.
The Pirates scoring a run for him.
Scoring a run for him. He's pitched well late in the season, but they haven't scored. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. See that breaking ball a little bit up higher in the strike zone now, Curt. 1-1.
Let's remember that Nolan's pitched only 6 complete games all year. Has not pitched a complete game since June 26th.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Briles goes after a bad pitch. 1-2. Breaking ball, grounded to Menke. He'll have a long throw, but he gets Briles. 2 down. And Rennie Stennett coming slowly to the batter's box to give Briles a little chance to get back to the dugout.
I'd explain to the fans watching that sometimes your picture looks outstanding in the bright sun, and we go into these shadows and it changes. Nothing wrong with your set.
Once again, Stennett after the first pitch, pops it to the right side. Morgan drifting over toward the stands. He's got it. But the Pirates come up with a run on a home run by Sanguillen. So in the middle of the 5th inning of play here in Cincinnati, it's Cincinnati 2, Pittsburgh 1.
The 73 Plymouth Satellite Sebring Plus. Chrysler Plymouth made a little drawing of it so I could show you what's new besides looks. Quiet exhaust and suspension systems, sound barriers in the roof, doors, around the wheels, all over it. The new mid-size Satellite, built to be seen, not heard.
Plymouth Satellite. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
The minute you walked in the joint, I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender.
I just spent 200 grand for a new house for my best girl.
Have a mural, son, but don't get the ashes on the rug.
Hey, big spender, why not spend some time with me?
Get the big Muriel taste with Magnums, Coronas, or Senators.
Going into the last of the 5th, the Reds will send up Cheney, their number 8 hitter, Nolan, and the leadoff man, Pete Rose, to face Nelson Briles. Cincinnati scored both of their runs in the 3rd inning. Cheney led that inning off with a single to right, then scored. Morgan singled, stole a base, he also scored. So it's 2-1. Cincinnati over the Pirates. Hebner playing in at third base, looking for a possible bunt. Briles catches the outside part of the plate with a breaking ball. 1 strike. 1-1, too low. Pirates actually playing Cheney to pull from the left side of the plate. Just missed with a curve. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two and 1 pitch. Nubbed to short right field. Clemente coming hard. Now he's under it. The basket catch by Clemente for out number 1. Roberto Clemente trademark. The basket catch, and he never misses them. Brings up Nolan with 1 out. Ball 1 low. Pirates with 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. The Reds 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. 1-1 the count. Good hard breaking ball. 1-2. Nolan tried to sacrifice Cheney over in the 3rd inning, but popped it up foul to Sanguillen. He gets him on a breaking ball. Sanguillen tagging him out for a putout. Strikeout number 3 for Briles, and it brings up Pete Rose. Rose with a double in the 1st inning. Grounded out in the 3rd. Pete flinched at that one as though he didn't see it. There's Hebner once again with all this team speed Cincinnati has, playing well up in front of the bag. 1 ball to count. 1-1. Breaking ball, line to left field. Stennett will not have a play. So Rose on with his 2nd base hit of the game. And in steps Joe Morgan.
Well, he has become a hero in this town, too. When they made the big trade last winter, he was the unwelcome man here. Tommy Helms was very popular, so was Lee May. And the Red fans were irate that they were traded to Houston. Both Helms and May had good years with the Astros, but Morgan has been sensational this year with Cincinnati.
So we have 2 out with Pete Rose on first base. Morgan takes it too low, 1-0. Even with 2 outs, Hebner at third base is playing well up in front of the third base bag. Really respecting the speed of Joe Morgan. Good curveball catches the outside corner, 1-1.
This fella has one of the best eyes in the major leagues, Joe Morgan. He can draw a walk when the situation warrants. He led the National League in walks this year, setting a new Cincinnati club record, 115 walks.
1-1 the count. Fly ball. Stennett having trouble with the sun. He broke back again, but he comes in to get it. The sun causing some problems for Rennie Stennett in left field. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base, and so at the end of 5, it's Cincinnati 2, Pittsburgh 1.
Because Papermate knows how you write, they put a pump in the PowerPoint pen. So even at odd angles, on the worst surfaces, the Papermate pumps ink to the point, automatically as you write. So no matter where or what you have to write on, the Papermate PowerPoint keeps on writing smoothly, even when you wish it wouldn't. The Papermate PowerPoint, the pen that pumps the ink. Take a Papermate back to school this year. You'll be glad you did.
You know, you could get a better shave if your razor had a second blade. Why? Well, when you shave, your whisker is actually stretched out from your skin. But after it's cut, it starts to snap back. Now, if you had a second blade right here, you could shave that whisker again before it all snaps back. So with 2 blades, you'd have a better razor. Our razor, the Gillette Track 2. Gillette made it 1 blade better.
We pause now for station identification.
Henry Fonda and James Stewart meet in a showdown at Fire Creek tonight at 9, 8 Central Time.
Boy, there's no doubt about it. When you've got something someone wants, you can sure draw a crowd. Don Meredith here for Shell. And this football glass has fans flocking into Shell stations. It's got the NFL shield on one side and the official New York Giants emblem on the other. It's free, only from Shell when you fill up with 8 gallons or more of Shell gasolines, including Shell's new Super Regular in the Big Red Pump.
Free glass offer may vary at participating stations. Most Shell stations are participating.
Good Talk and Multi-Talent, nightly at 7.
The number 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the Pirate lineup, Cash, Clemente, and Stargell, to face Gary Nolan in the 6th inning. Cash is singled and wrapped into a force play. A ball to him. Joe Morgan uses one of the smallest gloves in the majors. Ball 2. He uses a small glove so he won't get the ball caught in a big glove trying to dig it out. He made only 8 errors. A National League record low for a second baseman is 7 by Jackie Robinson. That one is laced foul. So Morgan's not only done it with a bat on the bases this year, but has been an exceptional fielding second baseman. In fact, Wade Hoyt, former Hall of Famer, telecaster here, been a broadcaster here for many years in Cincinnati, said he's played as good a second baseman this year as he's ever seen.
Yeah, I was thinking of some of the great pivot men in recent years around second base, and Bobby Richardson, of course, comes to mind along with Bill Mazeroski. And they both also use small gloves so the ball wouldn't get stuck in the webbing.
Pedro Bourbon now is starting to loosen up for the Reds. 3-2. Sparky Anderson. They'll want to have someone ready in case Nolan's arm quickly goes or he tires. That one is hit in the right field, right at Geronimo, and there's one down. Clemente has struck out double to right center.
Now, they say that Sparky Anderson has a quick hook with his starting pitchers, but I think any manager gifted with the kind of bullpen he's got, Bourbon, Carroll, Hall, he'd have a quick hook too. It's a big asset of this team.
The Red staff has been last in the National League in complete games 2 years in a row. They had only 25 complete games this year. But as you said, Tony, the bullpen helps make some of his decisions, their ability. He hits a high foul into the seats. Of course, we don't get to watch Clemente day after day and year after year, but I just can't see where the man has slowed down too much over what he was 5 years ago even. Still runs hard, great body. Does everything in the game hard. Throws hard, swings hard.
I know of no other player in baseball that plays the game with more intensity in all departments than Clemente.
He was 38 years old on August 18th. Batting with 1 out, nobody on. Fouls it back for strike 2. And Cincinnati's out in front of Pittsburgh 2-1 in the 6th inning.
You know, Curt, many people forget an important play in that World Series last year. They remember the great home runs and the catches and throws Clemente made, but when the Orioles had the Pirates down 2-0 with Cuellar on the mound, he had a little chopper back to the mound, and he hustled all the way, forced a bad throw, and it could have been the turning point of the series.
He can beat you many ways. A 2-strike pitch to him. A ball. One and two. Playing him to right field. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Clemente. Geronimo toward the right field line. Tolan well over in right center, and Rose well over in left center. They give Clemente the left field line. And the infield is shading first. The 2-2 pitch. Fouls it away.
Now they appear to be changing the pitching pattern on Clemente. They tried inside against him the first time up. Now they're going pretty much away with the fastball. Mixing up the pitching pattern on the great Clemente.
1 out, bases empty. 2-2 delivery. 3-2. Swung at an outside pitch. Count 3-2.
Curt, Nolan must have given the word to Sparky Anderson that his arm isn't right or he's tiring. To have Bourbon warming up so quickly. Hadn't been in any trouble this inning, but Bourbon came out right after the first hitter and started throwing hard, getting loose. It's taking a lot more time now on the mound, too.
A pop-up. Over it goes Perez, and he can't get it. And Fan about the first or second row. Off his hands. The wind is blowing from third to first. And ball's hit in the air being carried toward the right field seats.
But Perez once again going over. Very high railing, trying to reach on. And Fan taking out of the glove almost of Perez.
Clemente works him for the walk. Nolan lost him after having him 2 strikes. First walk by Gary Nolan. Stargell has struck out and flied to left. Stargell is going to wind up his career as a first baseman. They won't put him back in the outfield again. He's had some knee problems. And that one gets away. There goes Clemente to second. Makes the big turn. A wild pitch charge to Gary Nolan.
You can almost see Clemente daring Bench to throw, and Bench turning around and saying, I dare you to go. Great base runner and a great arm. Here goes Roberto on the pass ball. A wild pitch. Making the turn all the way. If Bench hadn't hustled back, he'd have gone right on into third base. But Johnny really got back quickly.
Sparky Anderson watching his pitcher Nolan deliver a strike, 1-1. Stargell has not hit a home run since September 4th. He ended the season in a batting slump. 1 ball, 1 strike. And he pops it up. Third baseman Menke, as the wind holds it up for him, makes the grab. 2 out. Clemente at second. Al Oliver, fly to left, struck out. Reds, 2 runs, 6 hits. Pirates, 1 run, 4 hits, top of the 6th inning. Al Oliver attended Kent State University. The star basketball and baseball player at Portsmouth High in Ohio. Sinker ball for a strike. There's Clemente. Look how far Oliver is back from the plate. They try and jam him.
He strides into the ball.
1-1. Sparky Anderson was commenting today, the Cincinnati manager. He said, we used to get Oliver out 2 years ago by pitching him high and tight. He's learned how to handle that pitch now, and he's finally caught up with everything. And he said, I hate to tell you how good he's going to be from now on. A 1-1 pitch. He hits it down the right field line, foul.
Another great asset that Oliver has. He does not lack confidence. Very cocksure. And he tells you, I should have been playing regularly last year. Should not have been platooned.
I brought that up to Hebner today. I said, do you feel that you should not have been platooned? And he said, well, every time they put Pagan in there, he did a good job. We won. That's what was important. I said, sure, I like to play every day. I never saw a good player yet once to sit on the bench. I wouldn't want him.
If I were a manager, I wouldn't want to have it any other way. I'd want my men sitting on the bench, fighting to get in that lineup.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Al Oliver. 2 down, Clemente at second. And there's a drive, scooped up by Cheney. Throws him out. That ball nearly made it through in the center field.
Look at it again. Cheney saving a run, ranging far to his left. The ball just over the outstretched arm of Nolan, the pitcher. And he really had to get rid of the ball as Oliver runs well.
No runs, no hits, and a man left. We're going to the last of the 6th to score. Cincinnati 2, Pittsburgh 1.
I get in some pretty tough scrapes with my shaves. That's why I like the skin conditioner in Aquavelva. Right, sweetheart?
You're always right.
Don't you forget it. Aquavelva does a lot more than just smell nice. It cools and refreshes and smooths my face. Right, sweetheart?
You're always right.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Aquavelva. It does a lot more than just smell nice.
Right, sweetheart?
The structure of this Apollo command module is welded into a single unit. It has an electronic ignition system and a reclining seat. And so is this 73 Chrysler New Yorker Brougham. And it has a body that's welded into a single unit for strength. Maybe it won't go as far as Apollo, but who wants to keep a car for 500,000 miles?
Chrysler New Yorker. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
Next Sunday, a football-baseball doubleheader. Game 2 of the World Series at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Then at 4 o'clock, it'll either be the Cincinnati Bengals against the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams have 3 wins and 1 loss. Both won impressively yesterday. Or Buffalo against Oakland. Oakland plays Houston tonight, and Buffalo upended the New England Patriots Sunday. Football-baseball doubleheader on NBC this coming Sunday. Bobby Tolan leading off in the last of the 6th inning. Tolan is grounded out. He has singled to center to drive in a run. Browse his pitch. He runs up on it. It's a strike.
As soon as that ball was thrown, almost every infielder of the Pirates was moving in. Hebner playing shallow at third again. Cash at second base playing very shallow also and started moving in on the pitch.
There's a drive down the right field line, foul. 0-2.
Quite an asset, that speed of foot that both Tolan and Morgan have. They get these infielders playing in a little bit, looking for a bunt, and they have enough power to sting the ball by you.
No balls, 2 strikes. 1-2. You know, Tony, Bobby Tolan hurt that Achilles tendon. He tore it playing in a basketball game. Bunch of the Reds in the off season in January. There have been more players injured in basketball, baseball players messing around in the off season that have damaged their career. Remember Jim Lomborg hurt his knee skiing.
I think a lot of the teams have now put bans on their players participating in basketball games during the offseason, and most of the times the players are performing for charities, benefit games, the money going to good causes. Now they're having to turn many of those down.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Bobby Tolan. He hits that in the air to left field. Looking up in the sun is Rennie Stennett, and has it. That sun's really bothering that youngster out there today. 1 down. Johnny Bench bounced to the pitcher and tripled down the left field line. And he was cut down trying to score on Geronimo's fly ball to left. Now they swing around deep in the outfield toward left. Hebner guarding the third base line. Alley deep in the hole at short. Look where the second baseman is, Cash, almost in back of the bag. Hit his bat handle for a foul ball. Tony Perez follows Bench in the batting order. The Reds are leading 2-1, last of the 6th inning. An excellent ball game here. Strike. 2 powerful teams at one going away. These playoffs, this is the 4th year of the playoffs in Major League Baseball. It had an odd pattern. Here's the 2-strike pitch. You know, there was the moan at first about him. So, well, look, if you go all year, you win. You could go in the playoffs and get beat in a short series. It's not fair. But a team with the highest percentage has not lost yet in these playoffs.
It's created great fan interest, too, I think, Curt.
A 1-2 delivery. 2-2. Fan interest is here. A sellout crowd today of over 50,000. The Reds management tells us there's still some seats available for tomorrow's game for folks here in this area. There are seats available for tomorrow. 3 o'clock game here tomorrow. 2-2 to Johnny Bench. He hits a high fly drifting toward the seats. Hebner's going to try and get it. And he can't quite get it. Doggone, I nearly had it.
Ritchie saying to one of the umpires down that left field foul line, Augie Donatelli, he thought he may have been interfered with by one of the fans reaching over, blocking his view, hitting his arm. Same thing happened to Perez down the first base line the last inning. They've been trying to keep the ball, Curt, away from Bench.
Hebner says his mother called him and said, "You don't shave off that mustache, I'm not going to watch you on television." In Norwood, Massachusetts. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Bench hits a line shot at Renee Stennett. He thinks it's 3 down, but it's only 2 outs, Renee.
I think Stennett is very much preoccupied with the sun glaring in his eyes. He's got enough on his mind just with that. A little smile as he gets some razzing from Augie Donatelli, the left field foul line umpire. It's embarrassing.
2 out, nobody on. Tony Perez has struck out and popped up. Cincinnati ahead 2-1, last of the 6th inning. Grounder, foul outside the bag.
Puts that foul ball bench it over, Hebner over toward the stands, getting in position to make his leap. Had his glove in the stands. We couldn't see from our viewpoint if a fan interfered or not.
The last 3 outs the Reds have made have been to the left fielder, Stennett. A 1-strike pitch to Perez. Curve is hammered foul again outside the bag.
Briles has had a good curveball most of the game, but to Bench and now to Perez, he's been hanging him inside, enabling them to pull the ball.
2 strikes. Well, he fell down again. If you could guess when he'd fall down, how about a bunt?
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There he goes.
Looks like when he tries to put a little extra on his fastball, he does it. Wondering, too, as clever as Briles can be, if he's not doing it to try and distract the hitter also.
He can bounce off that canvas, though, can he? 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a drive to right center. Clemente positioned perfectly for Perez, has it. The side's out on 3 outfield flies. At the end of 6 innings, our score is still Cincinnati 2 and Pittsburgh 1.
After you, folks?
My husband wants to know about your muffler guarantee.
Well, first of all, you get it on every modest muffler we install, and it says that if anything goes wrong, we put in a new one for only an installation charge.
Even if it just wears out?
Right. The Midas guarantee is good on any car made in America. Good for as long as you own your car.
That long, huh?
Right.
And that's good anywhere.
In the USA, Arthur.
You mean to say that I could buy one here and get it replaced in
Brooklyn, Kalamazoo, Biloxi, Topeka?
Right. Well, why don't you roll her on in and I'll fix you right up.
I don't need a new muffler.
Daddy didn't listen to Mommy, no. He went out and got his own muffler, and he didn't get such a good guarantee, and now he's sorry. Yes.
We're going now to the 7th inning. Richie Hebner, Manny Sanguillen, and Gene Alley up for Pittsburgh against Gary Nolan. The Reds here in their home ballpark have not been an overpowering team at home this year. They played just 8 games over 500 at home. They were the best road team in the National League this season. Sparky Anderson, the manager, had them winning on the road along with Alex Grammas there, the coach. The Pirates were the best home team in the National League. And now they want to...
Gary Nolan appears to want a little groundswork done. Maybe a hole is dug. It doesn't fit his stride. So there's Bruce Keeson now throwing for the Pirates. I saw also Nolan go out to the mound. He threw a couple of pitches, and he shook his head as if to say, no, I don't think I can make it. Now Sparky's coming out. He had Bourbon, right, he's up again.
Looks like Briles would have pounded that ground down enough the way he's been hitting it.
There's
Pedro Bourbon. And they want him. Nolan says he can't go on. He's had arm troubles. And his arm might have tightened up on him. It doesn't just feel right. So Bourbon is coming on to pitch in the 7th inning. There's a break in the action here at Cincinnati with a score. Cincinnati 2 and Pittsburgh 1.
The Dow Guard test strip lets you prove you're protected against winter freeze-up and summer boil-over. Use Dow Super Coolant Antifreeze. A 50% solution or higher is needed for your area. Anytime up to 1 year, dip the Dow Guard strip in your radiator. The strip will darken to prove you're protected against winter freeze-up and summer boil-over, or write Dow for a full refund. Only Dow proves it. Dow.
It's more than just a dinner. It's a picnic in the park. It's a lunch and it's a party. It's a great snack after dark. Oh, so take along Kentucky Fried Chicken. See the Colonel, yes you should. America loves what the Colonel cooks. Anytime, any place, it's finger-licking good.
Hi, I'm Tom Seaver. Baseball is interested in our youth. It was the first major sport to embark on a drug prevention and education program. When you consider using drugs not prescribed by your doctor, your chance of striking out is high. You take the first strike when you listen to your friends who are trying to tempt you. The second strike is when you take your first drugs. And you strike out when drugs become more important to you than keeping your body healthy. So don't strike out.
The preceding announcement made on behalf of Major League Baseball. Pedro Borbon appeared in 62 games this year. 60 in relief, 2 starts. He won 8 and lost 3. An earned run average of 3.17. Born, lives in the Dominican Republic. He's 25 years old.
Pretty much of a sinker ball slider pitcher. He throws a curve and a change, but he'll work you with a sinker ball away to left-handed hitters. When you start looking for it, comes in with a slider. I see also where Sparky Anderson has Clay Carroll, his ace in the bullpen, warming up. Burden has Keeson throwing. Might pinch it for Briles. Clay Carroll for Cincinnati now warming up.
Richie Hebner to lead it off in the 7th for the Pirates. Is fly to right and fouled out. And he's hit. Hebner on. That'll bring up Sanguillen, who's grounded out and hit a home run. Reds leading 2-1. The Pirates now have the tying run on. Here's the real swinger on this Pirate ball club. First ball hitter, and he fouls it back. He had 21 walks this year, 11 of them intentional. He was up 520 times, and only 10 walks that weren't intentional. Whoa! There's a delayed dive by Sanguillen. Looked like we had him frozen in an instant replay in slow motion. The way he hung in the air.
Here's an example of the brushback pitch. Trying to move Sanguillen back out of the batter's box a little bit.
1-1 to Manny Sanguillen. Sanguillen drives it into right center. The base hit. Hebner had to hold up to see if the ball would be caught. Hebner eases into second base. Sanguillen's on first. And Gene Alley is the hitter. Alley is flied to right and flied to left. Nelson Briles due up behind him.
Now Cincinnati looking for a possible bunt. Perez Menke will be charging at the corners. Cheney going to get a throw probably to second base. Morgan to first.
The bunt is laid down. It's a good one. It forces Menke to handle it. The third baseman, the sacrifice, moves the 2 runners up. Alley did his job. Briles is being called back. And Vic Davalillo's coming out to bat for him. Hebner's at third. Sanguillen at second. Bruce Keyson will come on to pitch in the last of the 7th. Davalillo, an excellent pinch hitter. A type of batter who can get a piece of the ball, especially against right-handers. He makes contact.
He probably gets out of the batter's box as fast as any hitter in baseball, being left-handed, and he's striding in the direction of first base. Gives him that good jump out of the box.
He can beat the infield chopper out. At 318 this year. Bill Burden giving him second instructions. Very emphatic the way he pointed that finger.
Sure, he's telling Davalillo, 1 out, you've got that man at third base. Try and get a pitch high in the strike zone, one you can lift to the outfield. Out comes Sparky.
Cincinnati manager now, Anderson. Hebner was hit by a pitch ball. Sanguillen got his second hit of the game when he singled to right. And Clay Carroll's being called on. Ginelli sacrificed in the second and third. He wants his veteran in there now, Carroll, and his best relief man, as the Reds are trying to protect this one-run lead in the 7th inning.
Anderson figures in this situation, second and third, 1 out. He needs a strikeout. He feels he'll get it from Carroll, probably not from Bourbon.
Tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time, the Tigers and the Oakland A's from Tiger Stadium in Detroit. Joe Coleman, a right-hander, against Kenny Holtzman, a left-hander, both 19-game winners. As soon as that game is over, we'll switch here to Cincinnati for Game 4 of the National League. So you have a full afternoon of championship playoff baseball on NBC tomorrow. It all starts at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
Carroll's biggest asset is that he comes out challenging you. He's going to throw the fastball by you, you know it, but he comes right at you. Has a good fastball, a good slider. We'll see the Cincinnati infield moving in for a possible play at the plate.
We pause now for station identification. Curt Gowdy and Tony Kubek. Tony Kubek with you here again.
WRGB Schenectady, Channel 6 Television.
Going to intentionally pass Davalillo to get to Stennett, set up a force out at home plate or any base with 1 out. Allow Sparky to move his infield back halfway. At shortstop at second base, there's Stennett on deck. Third baseman and first baseman, Menke and Perez, will have to make a decision whether to go home with the ball or try for the double play around the horn.
That loads them up. 1 out. Rennie Stennett is coming up at the top of the Pittsburgh batting order. Fly to center, single to left, and fouled out. Infield backs up a short at second. Perez even with a bag at first, and Menke almost even with a bag at third. And the outfield playing Stennett a shade toward right. Swung late and fouls it away.
Carroll going into his windup with the bases loaded. Davalillo off first base will have a good shot at anyone making the pivot down at second base in the double play attempt. Stennett has great speed coming out of the batter's box.
Clay Carroll saved 37 games this year, a new major league record. There's a big bounder. Morgan boots the ball. In the score is Hebner. The Pirates have tied it. They have the bases loaded. That ball hopped over the head of the first baseman. It has been scored. A base hit, I believe.
Curt, Joe Morgan made one heck of a play to get in front of that ball. All he wanted to do, he knew he didn't have a play as Perez broke after the ball too, stop the ball and save another run. And he did.
So our game is tied now 2-2. Bases loaded, 1 out. Foul ball by Cash, who has singled and 3 times up. Clay Carroll appearing in his playoff appearance here in Cincinnati was in 65 games during the regular season. Strike 2, 0-2. He had Stennett swinging late, and he's got Cash swinging late. Carroll, there's Sanguillen, the lead man now at third. Davalillo's at second, and Stennett's at first. Drive Fly ball into right field. Geronimo, fantastic arm. They don't go on him. There's a throw to second. Gavileo's out. Johnny Bench threw him out. Joe Morgan covered down there, and Morgan looked like he'd been spiked in the hand.
Sandian made a bluff attempt at home plate. He knew of the arm, the reputation of Geronimo. Geronimo's throw was offline, but Bench saw Davalillo, had him hung up. Morgan takes the throw and makes a great diving tag for the double play.
And Morgan may have injured his hand. We'll have to wait and see. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We're going to the last of the 7th in a tie game, 2-all.
Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference in Chrysler Corporation cars. What began in outer space is now right down to earth. Chrysler Corporation, the automotive company that helped put the first American in space, now puts some of the things it learned into its cars. Step into the start of the new age of automotive electronics. Electronic ignition for up to 35% more starting voltage than conventional systems. Now standard on all Chrysler Corporation cars built in this country. Electronic voltage regulator to help increase battery life. Electronic digital clock available on some models. So accurate you can set your watch by it. Electronics.
Extra care in engineering.
It makes a difference in Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth. Discover the difference. Drive one.
Joe Morgan, the trainer, while we were away, came over and sprayed some ethyl chloride on that right hand. It looks like his right thumb might have been jammed or hit as he made that diving tag on Davalillo at second base. So Carroll really wriggled the Reds out of a nasty situation there in the top of the 7th. And a sellout crowd now watching young Bruce Keyson, who was married right after Game 7 of the World Series last year. He won 9, lost 8 this year, with an earned run average of 3.26. He was a fellow that came in Game 3 in Pittsburgh early and pitched a sensational long relief job. When the Orioles had jumped out in front early, he held the Orioles, allowed the Pirates to get back into that game, and that was really the turning point of the 1971 World Series.
He is especially tough on right-handed hitters as he comes from the side with that fastball sinker that bores into the right-handed hitters, then comes with a sidearm curve. He'll have more difficulty with the left-handed hitters.
He has a penchant for hitting batters. Ball 1 to Dennis Menke, who's popped up and walked. 22 years old is all Keyson is. That's a foul. It's 1-1. Born in Pasco, Washington. Skinny kid, 6'4", weighs 178. He's used both ways this year. Started 18 games, relieved 14 times. That's his sidearm curve that he missed. 2 balls, 1 strike. Geronimo on deck, and then Darrell Cheney. He nearly hit him. 3 balls and a strike. Tie game, 2-2, last of the 7th. We've seen a dandy here today. Count goes to 3-2. Like Justy and Walker. It's going to be, now they've changed. That's Justy, the right-hander. There's a ground ball to third. Hebner's throw. 1 down. Ramon Hernandez, the left-hander, is going to warm up.
Justy, now they're changing positions. The right-hander, Hernandez, the left-hander. We talked about that bullpen that Cincinnati has. This is a great bullpen also, along with Bob Miller and these 2 gentlemen.
Geronimo has popped up and flied into a double play. Tom Hall, who won the game yesterday in relief for Cincinnati now warming up. Fly ball to center fielder Oliver. 2 away in the last of the 7th. And Darrell Cheney coming in. Cheney has single to right, flied out. 2 runs, 6 hits for each club. Tom Hall. One ball, no strikes. Bill Verdon, a very quiet fella. He's a lot like Murtaugh, doesn't show much emotion. 2-0. Murtaugh had a dry wit to him. Grounded to first baseman Stargell. A quick 1-2-3 inning for young Keyshawn. We're going to the 8th inning here in Cincinnati, and the score is tied 2-2.
Gillette makes a better double edge now than the one your father used. The smoothest edge we can put on a blade for the smoothest shave we can put on your face. The Platinum Plus blade. And someday, Gillette will make even a better blade for your son. The more things change, the more they stay the same. We made the first blade, and we're still the first blade. Gillette. Platinum Plus.
I wouldn't use an antiperspirant if I didn't have to, but I have to. I perspire. It's just that a lot of antiperspirants smell artificial. But not this new one. It's new Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant. It smells light, clean, shower, and it helps keep me dry all day. New Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant. I like the way it works. I like the way it smells.
Pause now for station identification.
Henry Fonda and James Stewart meet in a showdown at Fire Creek tonight at 9, 8 Central Time.
You know what Germany needs? Good old Genesee beer. Living here, wandering through these old villages is great, but I sure miss having Jenny around.
So do I. I'm from real Genesee country. Used to have it all the time whenever we wanted a good, cold, refreshing drink.
We'd still be buying Jenny if we could.
When you can't get cold-aged Genesee, you're missing the best beer there is. People everywhere agree. It's the best from the beer makers.
WRGB Channel 6, your television news station.
What is that, Falmouth or Falmouth?
The sign speaks for itself.
Hello, Buzz. Commissioner of Baseball, Bowie Kuhn. Back of him is the Public Relations Director, Joe Reichler. And the other gentleman is Mr. Dale, the president of the Reds. 8th inning, Clemente with a strike. Struck out, doubled, and walked. Strike 2. Play Carroll. Gary Nolan started, went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, walked 1, struck out 4. Came out to the mound, but then told his manager he couldn't go on. It was Bourbon and now Carroll. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carroll's been a busy man in relief in recent years. Right to the box. Better hurry. Got him. Before Willie Stargell comes up, NBC Reports presents an unusual story when it looks at the cave people of the Philippines tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern Time here on NBC. 65 appearances this year for Carroll, 61 last year, 65 the year before, 71 and 69, and 68 and 68. Whoa, curve. You can feel that whoosh up here. Tie game, 2-2 in the 8th inning. 1 strike to Stargell. Strike 2. This Carroll's throwing strikes.
Comes out there challenging you, playing Stargell as an extreme pull hitter. That shortstop Cheney right up the middle was directly behind the pitcher. Big opening down that left field line.
I was interested in Hank Aaron's statement before the playoffs. A ball. He said for the Reds to beat the Pirates, forget about Clemente, he's going to get his hits anyway. They must stop Oliver, Stargell, and Hebner, the 3 left-handed batters, to win. Stargell and Oliver 0 for 6 in this game. That curve just missed, 2-2. We were right about Nolan. His arm stiffened up on him. That's why he left. That's the report from the Cincinnati clubhouse. Inside, fastball, 3-2. The hometown fans now doing some umpiring.
Watch Stargell, the way he moves that bat around. Sometimes the pitcher will try and catch him in the middle of that swinging.
It's a 3-2 count. Ball 4, he's on. We had 2 and 2 posted there. It was 3 and 2. Stargell walks. Al Oliver's gone hitless. Fly to left, struck out, grounded out. Remember, this breeze is in the favor of batters like Oliver if they pull the ball to right. Wind is blowing from 3rd to 1st. A ball to him. The Pirates and the Reds tied 2-2. Playing off the bag against Stargell at first. And there's a drive that's going to sink in down the left field line. It is bounding around in there. Stargell is held at 3rd, and Oliver has a double.
Pete Rose really got the ball back to the infield quickly. The shortstop Cheney was out for the relay, and he got it to him in a hurry. See it again. Little number off the fist by Oliver in that left field corner. Rose over very fast playing in left center field. He got rid of the ball like an infielder, as did Cheney.
Oliver is really haunting these Reds. His 4th extra base hit. They're going to put Hebner on. Oliver's now had 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer in these 3 games. This will load the bases again. Pittsburgh have the bases loaded in the 7th. Next batter will be Sanguin. Now right-hander Jim McLaughlin goes to work. There's Sanguin. McLaughlin working in the Cincinnati bullpen. Sanguin, as he comes up, Sparky Anderson moves out. Sanguin, after grounding out in the 2nd, hit a home run in the 5th over the left field wall. Single to right in the 7th. There's really no way to defense Sanguin, the way he splatters the ball around the park. Right field, center field, left field.
He's a first ball hitter, and many times pitchers will start him off with a breaking ball and try and make it bad to get him to chase it.
Pirates scored the tying run in the 7th. They had the bases loaded, 1 out when Cash hit a fly ball to right. Now we're going to have a runner.
That's Gene Kleins, who's come into 3rd base to run for Willie Stargell. There's Hebner on 1st. Billy Williams, the first base umpire.
Kleins is about the fastest man in the Pirate squad. He's at 3rd. Oliver's at 2nd. Hebner at 1st. The infield drawn in. 1 out and the game tied 2-2. Stargell rams it to short. 1. The throw. No! Danny Sanguin, who has exceptional speed for a catcher. Most catchers would have been doubled up. This is the great asset he has as a catcher for the Pirates. He can run. And he just beat the double play throw to 1st.
Cheney makes a fine stop. He was playing up the middle for Sanguin. He dives for it, knocks it down, keeps the ball in front of him, flips to Morgan, who really got rid of the ball. But Sanguin, with that good speed, beats the play at 1st.
The Pirates lead 3-2 now in the 8th inning. The batter is Gene Alley with runners on first and third. Alley beats it to Cheney. Cheney steps on the bag. They're out of the inning. But Pittsburgh takes the lead with 1 run, 1 hit. There were no errors and 2 men left. Last of the 8th inning coming up. Pittsburgh 3, Cincinnati 2.
Hi, I'm Joe Garagiola. Now, to most of you, this new Dodge Charger might seem just too good-looking to be practical. But let's talk about room for 6, family-sized trunk space, electronic ignition for more dependable starting, smooth, Tarshan quiet ride. Let's face it, ladies, you want to talk practical? You're talking Dodge Charger. Okay, guys, you got your Charger.
Dodge. Depend on it.
Good times don't come easy out here. But you only get one life to live. And you gotta live it to the hilt. Second chances are never handed out. So you go for the gusto. In everything. Even the beer you drink. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
Bob Robertson, last year a hero in the playoffs, hit 3 homers in 1 game against the Giants at San Francisco. He got off to a miserable start this year and could never recover. And now he's a replacement for Stargell at first base. Stargell lifted for the pinch runner Kleins, who has scored the go-ahead run. Joe Haig is going to bat for Clay Carroll as the Reds make their move here in the last of the 8th inning. Then we'll go to the top of the order and pick up Pete Rose and Joe Morgan. Haig hit .243 this year, 7 homers, 31 runs batted in. And Dave Justy is loosening up in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Bruce Keyson on the mound, pitching his 2nd inning of relief. Jim McLaughlin will come in to pitch the 9th inning for Cincinnati. Keyson, slow curve, is inside for a ball. Didn't ask for a better one than this. Had everything. The 1-0 delivery. Foul. Over there goes Hebner for it. But he can't get to it. He ran into that wall. Hit his right elbow.
Here it is again. Hebner really motoring, leaping into the stands almost. Really hit that metal barrier.
What's this mean as a minimum to get into the World Series? At least, what, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000?
I guess it is, yes. We don't have the exact figures because a lot of it is based on attendance.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pull the string on him. Strike 2, 1-2.
Keyson, for a left-handed hitter, is difficult to pull. If he keeps that sinker ball down and away, you've got to go up the middle or to the opposite field, or you'll hit that weak grounder to the right side.
Playing Haig to pull the ball. Strike 3, he's out on a breaking pitch. Doesn't like it, but he's gone. The Reds' bats suddenly have gone still. 8 in a row have gone down. Here's Pete Rose up. He's had 2 hits in 3 times. He doubled in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd, and singled in the 5th. And now Keyson will face 5 of the toughest hitters in baseball in a row. Ball 1 to Rose. Joe Morgan's on deck. 3-2 Pittsburgh, last of the 8th inning. Bob Robertson sitting right on top of that line. Hebner's in. There's a drive to right center. That's in. They'll get extra bases. Up for the ball is Oliver. Rose is on second with a tying run. 3 hits for Pete Rose.
Sometimes the word competitor in sports is overworked, but never with that guy.
Bill Verdon on his way to the mound. And he's calling Dave Justy in. He wants his veteran reliever in. That broke the spell for the Reds. They had not had a base runner since Rose singled in the 5th. Dave Justy will relieve Bruce Keyson. We're going to have a break now here in Cincinnati. We're in the last of the 8th inning, and our score is Pittsburgh 3, Cincinnati 2.
In a minute, Susan.
Jim, your hair looks like it's still on the beach. It needs to bounce, Jim. Looks alive and natural, Jim.
Jimmy?
Ask Jim.
Now, for all tradesmen who have something to get off their chests, Dodge extends itself to bring you the Club Cab Swept Line. The pickup with storage space inside for the things you don't want to leave outside. From Dodge. Depend on it. And you can depend on the Club Cab for more dependable starting, thanks to Chrysler's electronic ignition, plus great ride and handling because of independent front suspension. The Club Cab Swept Line at your Dodge dealers now.
Well, baseball has been almost everything to me in my life because through baseball I have the opportunity to meet the people in the world and get together with them. I came to the state and I have the opportunity to help my family, which I think is the greatest thing to me in life. So I would say that everything that I have I own to baseball, and there's nothing better that I can do than play baseball.
Preceding announcement made on behalf of Major League Baseball. The two managers, Anderson on the left, Burden on the right. Here's Pete Rose winding up the end of his hit into right center as he watches the ball out there in right center. Lost his cap around first. He's in the second base, standing up, and he represents the tying run now. And Joe Morgan facing Dave Justy. 32-year-old Justy won 7 and lost 4 for Pittsburgh this year with a low earned run average of 1.92. He saved 22 games. But he has a chore ahead. Bobby Tolan's on deck. Breaking pitch to Morgan. Best pitch for Justy is his palm ball. Throwing back in the palm of his hand, comes in and drops off to the batter. Bobby Tolan waiting. Justy born in Seneca Falls, New York. The National League Fireman of the Year last season. That's hit to the right side. Bob Robertson, the Justy covering. Over to third is Rose. Throw to Rose, not in time. Well, Morgan is out. Bob Robertson, who's an underrated defensive first baseman. Justy hustled over there to cover the bag. 2 down. That puts it up to Bobby Tolan for Cincinnati. Tolan grounded out in the first, single to center to drive in a run in the third, and fly to left in the sixth.
Now Sanguillen calling out to his pitcher Justy and his second baseman Cash. Watch the bunt. Tolan may try and score. Rose that way.
They play Tolan to pull to right in the outfield. Robertson guarding the line at first, and Hebner in tight on the grass at third. Or on the carpet, we should say. A ball. 3-2 Pittsburgh, last of the 8th inning. The Reds have 2 outs. Rose at third. By him. 1-1.
Curt, you mentioned the fine palm ball of Justy, and he has one. But as soon as you start looking for it up at the plate, that off-speed palm ball, he can throw the fastball by you. He's got a good fastball also.
1-1 to Tolan. Foul back. 1-2. Johnny Bench on deck. him out. That was it. Came in and dropped off his palm ball. Big strikeout for the Pirates and Justy. No runs for Cincinnati. 1 hit, no errors. They left Pete Rose at third base. At the end of 8 innings, Pittsburgh 3, Cincinnati 2. In the 9th inning of Game 3 of the National League playoff, Dave Justy will face Jim McLaughlin, who is the 4th pitcher for the Reds.
McLaughlin's best pitch is his overhand curveball. He'll change speeds on it. He also throws a sinker ball.
One ball, no strikes. Rennie Stennett will be up next at the top of the Pirate batting order, and then Dave Cash. Two and nothing. McLaughlin turned 29 years old last Friday. They've just posted the paid attendance, 52,420, the largest crowd to ever see a baseball game in Cincinnati. 3 balls and no strikes. 3-1. What are they going to do with Justy here?
I think Frank Osiak's going to say, take another one.
3-2. That's Stennett, number 6 in the on-deck circle with his back to you. He hits a fly ball out to Bobby Tolan. 1 out. Rennie Stennett has had 2 hits in 4 times. One of his hits, an infield hit, drove in a run. I think I said Stennett was 22. I just checked the record book. He is 21 years old. Not bad, that 286 average for a 21-year-old player in his first year in the big leagues. 3-2 Pittsburgh, 9th inning. 0-1 to him. The Reds in the last of the 9th. You Red fans have Bench, Perez, and Menke due up. Curve outside, 1-1. And that's Dave Cash. Ground in the hole, Cheney, and I stop his throw off the bag, up against the dugout wall. Stennett is safe.
Cheney has shown fine range going to his right. Tries to right himself. He knows he's got to hurry. It's harder to plant your foot on this artificial surface than it is on a dirt surface. Didn't have good balance and threw the ball over the head of Perez.
And they charged him with an error, Tony. That's the first error of the game. Cincinnati made the fewest errors in the National League 2 years in a row. 103 last year, 110 errors this year. Stennett at first. Can run. A ball to Cash. Pittsburgh ahead 3-2. They're trying to pad their lead here in the 9th. Runner going. There's a throw by Bench. And he's out. Cheney, the shortstop, took the throw.
That's not a throw, that's a bullet. Here goes Stennett on the replay. Bench with a shotgun to Cheney. Second base umpire John Kibler calls the play.
Back at the plate, 2-1 to Dave Cash. Pirates have 2 away and nobody on. Dave Concepcion is down there in the bullpen throwing. He's a defensive player, maybe. They'll throw it at first. He's down, but the Reds will have to do something for Concepcion to get back in this ball game if he comes up with a pinch hitter. No runs, no hits, 1 error, nobody left. The Reds coming up with their last shot of the 9th inning with a score: Pittsburgh 3, Cincinnati 2.
Never before in the history of televised sports has one network covered every major sports event the way NBC does now. Baseball. Basketball. Football. Hockey. Golf. And tennis. All the top events on one network. Throughout the year, NBC Sports has it all.
Tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Time, the Oakland Athletics, Detroit Tigers from Tiger Stadium in Detroit. Right after that game is over, we'll switch here to Cincinnati for the Pirates and the Reds. So a full afternoon of the Major League Baseball Championship playoffs. Dave Justy will face Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, and Dennis Menke. Tomorrow pitching for Cincinnati will be left-hander Ross Grimsley, and a right-hander will be going for Pittsburgh, Doc Ellis. Some sunglasses are being brought out to Roberto Clemente. There's not much sun out there. There is one patch to the left of the 375 mark. In fact, Clemente just pointed up to the top of the stadium. That sun is lying right on the rim. And if he got over that way and had to look up, he wanted to be prepared. He wants to perform again in another World Series. And do his thing. Johnny Bench bounced to the pitcher, tripled down the left field line, and line to left. Bench hit the Pirates staff hard this year. He hit 5 homers off them. Ball 1. You know, he got psyched out that he couldn't hit home runs in this ballpark. But he, at the end of the year, just said, well, heck with it. And he did. He finished the season with a rush of home runs that won him the home run leadership of the majors. Let's look down the third. You'll see where Richie Hebner's playing, almost on top of the line. He doesn't want that ball by him for extra bases. A 1-0 pitch to Johnny Bench. Strike, 1-1. Tony Perez intently waiting. Going for the downsies then. They're deep. Got 2 steps toward left in the outfield. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3, a fastball. Bench knew it. Walks away. He appeared to be waiting for a breaking pitch, and Justy slipped the fastball over. 1 out. Tony Perez has struck out, popped up, line to right. Dennis Menke on deck. A ball. Menke. 3-2 Pittsburgh, last of the ninth inning. Strike, 1-1. One away. Bases empty, last of the ninth. The Reds are 1 run down. Fouled away, and the count is 1-2. Perez grind that bat in his hands. Pitch comes on. 2-2 count to Tony Perez. Our statistician here, as usual, for NBC, Alan Roth. Our production stage manager, Jim O'Gorman. Thank you, gentlemen. 2-2 pitch coming up. 3-2 to Perez. Perez lines it to right field, a base hit. Clemente has it. The Reds have the tying run on. Perez looks to the dugout to see if they're going to send a runner, and Concepcion is coming in to run. Concepcion will run for Perez. And there's Sparky Anderson marking out his lineup card, getting his change there. Dennis Menke popped up, walked, grounded out. Strike to Menke. Dave Cash is waiting for it. Clemente galloping in there right behind him. You'll see Clemente behind him. Came all the way in from right field. In case if he could be of some help. 2 out, and the Reds are down to their last out, and the batter is Cesar Geronimo. Darrell Cheney is on deck. 3-2 Pittsburgh, last of the ninth inning. Justy now try and nail down this last out. It's always the hardest one to get. Foul back. Tom Hall in the bullpen for the Reds in case the Reds tie it. 1 strike to Geronimo. A 1-1 count to him. Geronimo's gone hitless in 3 times. Concepcion at first with Bob Robertson holding. 2 out. Van Gien nearly let that ball slither away. It's 2-1. Concepcion with a short lead. There's a fly ball in the left field. Stennett's coming on. Alley's out there. Alley has it. The Pirates win the ball game 3-2 and go ahead in the National League playoff 2-1. So the Reds now must win the last 2 games to win the National League pennant. The Pirates need to win 1 of the last 2. And the winning pitcher today is Justy, who saved the game. Keyson was the pitcher of record when the Pirates went ahead. He's the winner in relief. The loser is Clay Carroll. There's your line score. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Pirates. 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for Cincinnati. A tense, well-played game that had just about everything you like to see in a Major League game. In the 3rd inning, Cheney singled to lead off after Nolan fouled out and Rose grounded out. Morgan singled to drive in a run, and he stole second, and Tolan singled him in, and the Reds led 2-0. In the 5th inning, Sanguillen had a home run to make it 2-1. In the 7th inning, the Pirates tied it on Stennett's infield hit with the bases loaded that scored Richie Hebner. And the Reds won it, or the Pirates won it in the 8th after 1 out when Stargell walked. Al Oliver doubled to left. Kleins then ran for Stargell. Hebner passed intentionally to load the bases, and Sanguillen's hard ground ball to short handcuffed Cheney momentarily. They couldn't get the double play, and in the score was Kleins, and that won it for Pittsburgh 3-2. We'll be back with more highlights. Now we pause for station identification.
Henry Fonda and James Stewart meet in a showdown at Fire Creek tonight at 9, 8 Central Time.
Stand aside, Giant.
I'd not budge if you were the king.
That's it, then. Fight, Giant. Come and join us for an ale.
Those were the lusty ale days. We brought them all back with Miller Ale, brewed from a very special traditional recipe. Take a step backward. Try Miller Ale from out of the ale days.
You're watching a heavyweight at work. Notice the power behind every blow. Here's another heavyweight, the Gilson snowblower with power to send the deepest snowdrift flying. The Gilson snowblower is extra heavy, and in snow, heavier is better. The Gilson heavyweight, a great machine to have in your corner this winter. Step into the ring with a heavyweight at your Gilson dealer.
B&B Equipment, Gloversville, Little Engine Shop, Saratoga Springs, Shaker Equipment, Latham.
Specters, Metroland's fashion leader for men and boys, presents Roger Staubach. Ready, Roger?
Ready. Feels great.
Dallas cowboy Roger Staubach is wearing Hager's new Expandomatic double knit slacks. The expansion waist gives with every move, takes the pressure off a man's middle. Hager Expandomatic slacks.
Be a star in Hager slacks from Specters, 233 Central Avenue, Albany. Open every night till 9, Saturdays till 6.
Tales of Terror, Sundays at 10:30 p.m.
Over in the 5th, a single in the 7th, and his hard ground force out in the 8th brought in the winning run. Pete Rose had 3 hits, the only man in this game with 3 hits. He had 2 doubles and a single, and oddly enough, he didn't score a run in this game. Joe Morgan singled to knock in a run, and Tolan singled to knock in the other run for the Reds. So Pittsburgh takes the lead now, 2-1 in this National League playoff. And let's go right down to Tony Kubek and his special guest.
With me on the field, the pitcher who finished the ball game for the Pirates, Dave Justy. And Dave, you know, this was built up in a lot of people's mind as a real hitter's series, but to me it's a matchup against 2 great bullpens. And you did quite a job today.
Thanks a lot, Tony. I agree with you. I thought it was going to be one of those hitters type of series, but the way the pitchers have come out of there, and like Johnson yesterday, and some of the other fellows have been doing a remarkable job. It's amazing. It really is. It's such a keyed-up series that everybody is doing real well, you know. Some of the hitters aren't coming through, but the pitching has just been outstanding.
You had Bench and Perez up in that last inning, and you really had your work cut out for you. Made a perfect pitch on Bench, didn't you?
Well, Tony, that's one of those pitches you dream about making, you know, especially in a tight situation like that. And I just told myself, you know, if I'm going to get out of this jam, I'm going to have to make good pitches, and I'm just lucky enough to get it where I wanted to.
All right, we've mentioned on the air many offbeat pitches, screw balls, fork balls. You throw a little bit of an offbeat pitch, a palm ball. Perhaps you could show some of our viewers. I think you've got a ball in your back pocket. Just happen to have one.
Game ball.
All right, you can keep that for a souvenir.
It's a kind of a pitch that has made me a more successful pitcher since I've developed it, and it's the kind of pitch that you hold back in your palm, and the pressure points are on your middle, or on your ring finger and on your thumb, and you try to release it in such a way where you really try to cut it so that you get about half the speed of the fastball, and that's the important thing. A good motion and good delivery, but half speed, so that the timing is off. You know, if you throw a good changeup, most of the hitters, when they do hit it, they're way out in front and they pull the ball somewhere.
Can you explain what the ball does as it is approaching home plate?
That depends on how I throw it. Sometimes if I throw it up in their eyes, there's a good chance of them hitting it out of the ballpark. But I try to keep the ball down, and if I do get it below the waist, sometimes it had a tendency to sink like it did on Toll in the eighth inning.
You know, many people for many years have said, and I think Ted Williams said it more than anybody else, that the relief specialist has been the biggest factor in hitting and less 300 hitters. Do you think this is a factor? There's so many specialists now like yourself.
I think this is very true, Tony. You got 10 pitchers on a ball club, and each one has a certain position to get themselves involved with in a ball game. The long men, they have a responsibility. The short men, they have a responsibility. More and more, even when you're scouting, more ball clubs look in terms of finding a guy that's got the potential of becoming a good short man. So it's a more specialized game, I think, now than it was even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And this is where I think this is why the hitters aren't hitting 300 now and aren't getting as many home runs and not as many as runs scored as there used to be. So it's a real specialized pitching type of game now.
Of course, you set them up with that palm ball, and they start leaning over the plate looking for it, and you bust them with a fastball.
Well, I got to have both of them to be successful, I'll tell you, and one complements the other if I'm lucky, Tony.
This is a big game for you here in this park, in Cincinnati's ballpark. What are Bill Verdion's pitching plans for tomorrow?
I think that Bill's going with Doc Ellis tomorrow. He's been a very successful pitcher for us. He's had some elbow problems, but he's got the proper rest, and he'll be in there plugging and pitching, I'll tell you that.
Dave Justy, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck next appearance. Thank you so much, Dave Justy. Let's go upstairs to Curt Gowdy for a while.
All right, tomorrow, after you watch the Tigers play the Oakland A's from Tiger Stadium, we'll be switching here on NBC to Game 4 of this National League playoff. Tomorrow in Detroit is Game 3 in the American League. And the pitchers here tomorrow will be Ross Grimsley, a left-hander for Cincinnati. During the year, he won 14 games and lost 8. He'll be going against Doc Ellis, who won 15 and lost 7. So those are the scheduled pitchers tomorrow. I don't imagine we'll have any other lineup changes. It depends. They might do something with the batting orders. And again, the Reds were leading 2-0 today. When the Pirates picked up a run in the 5th, they tied it in the 6th. They won the game in the 8th inning. And Gene Klein's a pinch runner, scored on Manny Sanguillen's ground ball force out. Twice, the Pirates had the bases loaded in the 7th and the 8th. And the relief pitching today was all important for both clubs. You're waiting for these two clubs to really explode, to start hammering some home runs, but they haven't been able to do it yet, although the Reds jumped out with 4 runs yesterday. And we'll see what happens here tomorrow. The Pirates very definitely now will be the favorite to win the National League playoff, even though they're on the road with their last 2 games. They only need 1 out of 2 now to win it, and the Reds must sweep the last 2 remaining games. Tony's going to have some more guests downfield, and here he is with a fella. He can win or lose, and he's always happy. And I know he'll have a big grin on his face as we hit him down there. I think he's one of the happiest men I've ever met in baseball. Manny Sanguillen, the catcher of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Thank you, Curt. Manny, we have a lot of Latin American viewers in our audience on NBC's Game of the Week. I'm going to ask you a question in English. I want you to answer it in Spanish and then translate for me. All right? What kind of pitch did you hit for the home run today?
Tony, yo batí una recta alta porque él me tiró, el primer lanzamiento fue recta, entonces yo estaba listo para la recta. Los otros me estaban diciendo que buscaba la curva, pero yo tengo que buscar la recta para poder batear la curva.
All right, now translate. What did you say?
I say, and I know it was a high fastball, Tony, and first pitch he threw me, the first time I going to hit was a high fastball, and I was ready, I take it. So everybody tell me looking for a breaking stop. I had to look for a fastball to hit the breaking stop, so I give me the same pitch, and I hit it over the park.
Manny, Dave Justy really did a job for you today. He had good stuff, didn't he?
Yes, he does. He have a good palm ball, and the fastball was good because you see, and I always track out the big guy like Johnny Bench, you know, with fast ball. I know he sit down with looking for the breaking ball. So I put in my mind, you see, I had to throw him fast ball because he's so dangerous. Because the ball here, triple was a pound ball. So, yeah. And yet he throw 1 pound ball, he have a so strong swing. I said, I don't want to see this guy hit the ball out of the ballpark. So I call for fast ball and I take it because looking for breaking stuff.
One time you were a boxer, weren't you? You used to do some boxing. Did you box professionally?
No professional, Tony. I just box amateur. So I started on 126 and I going over 167, 175 pounds. In Panama, you don't make money this way, so I have to quit.
It's an interesting story how you get started in baseball. You started in baseball actually pretty late in age. How did you get to playing baseball?
Well, I was in Panama in the Bible school in 1963, I believe, between 63 and 64, and the ministry have a thing in the Bible school, and I asked him, I want to play because I love, to play baseball, and I played soccer, and I said, no, basketball, in other words, soccer, and I was good at running strong, and I asked him, you look like a baseball player, so he asked me to go, and the first time I go in practice, I hit the ball hard. Funny,
guys spend their lifetime trying to hit the ball hard, and you do it the first time. How do you explain that?
I told you the other day, Jim Allen was messing around, and I said, "Wait, man, you minister, you to throw you high coconut ties and low weight bananas."
Low weight bananas and high coconuts. Tomorrow, Bill Verdon is pitching Doc Ellis. You've caught Ellis all season. What does he throw? What does he get? How's he looked for you recently?
Well, the best pitcher for that Kelly is the fast ball, and I have a good sinker. And I see how the fast ball, the sinker, is going to be tough. Plus, you have a good breaking ball, a good curve ball. I tell you, see, he put it all together, it's going to be tough. Especially, I have a good control, and I see he get you control together tomorrow. That's going to be really tough.
Has his arm been sound this year?
Well, he will have a lot of trouble, but every game he pitched on, he have a good stuff, and I also expect to see him in the same team tomorrow.
You hit a home run, we're going to run the tape and show the home run, and we're going to let you explain it, okay? High fastball, were you looking for it? Usually they start you with a breaking ball, don't they? Try and make you go after a bad pitch.
Yes, because that's my report. Everybody report that Manny Sanguin is a bad ball hitter. I consider myself, for me, it's a good strike because the ball I hit, plus I don't strike out too much. But when I been catching, I look, the ball I know was ball because the umpire and the other guy was called a ball. But I be talking a lot with Clemente and Willie, and this guy be happen to me a lot. But I still hear, the high ball more better than anything else. I start to hit a low ball. You see the ground ball I hit with the bases low, right. That was low. That's really, I feel good when I hit a low ball. Because this year I don't was hit, especially outside.
And a big run was scored on that play when you hit the ball as Cheney knocked it down. And you just with sheer hustle beat the throw to first base.
Yes, I know I hit the ball very hard, and I put in my mind I had to fly. Like they called me in Pittsburgh the big beat, so I said I had to put it all together. So I thank God because my leg, you see, because I'm catcher behind the home plate, the catcher really getting tired, especially a lot of trouble with the leg.
Manny, I'm going to ask you one more thing quickly. Many people in the National League and all baseball compare you and Johnny Bench. Bench with his great arm and, of course, his home run power. And some people say that you might be second to Johnny Bench. How do you feel about something like that?
Well, when I compare you with Johnny Bench, you have to feel good to yourself because, Johnny is a hell of a ball player, and it's really... He play hard, and I throw good, he run good, and they have a lot of power, and when he think needs some base, see home run, he looking for it, so you give it the ball, he hit the ball out of the ballpark. So I told you, I'd never compare myself with nobody, you see, and I just I feel good after, because a great catcher like Johnny Bench compare you see, you have to feel great.
Manny, would you like to say goodbye in Spanish to your Latin American friends?
Quiero saludar a todos los fanaticadas y hasta luego.
Thank you so much. Hasta luego, Manny. Back up to Curt.
What they say they call him in Pittsburgh, Beep Beep, the Road Runner, Manny Sanguin, a delightful guy to talk to. Let's go over one more play in this game. And we said earlier when it happened could be the big play of the game, and as it turned out, I think it was. That was in the fourth inning when the Reds were leading 2-0, and Johnny Bench led off with a triple. Then Perez popped to short, and on that play, the ball was lost in the sun by Rainey Stennett. And Stennett had trouble with that sun field today out there all afternoon. Going out for it, Alley made a remarkable play. Then Menke walked. That put runners in first and third. Geronimo then hit a fly ball to fairly deep left field over toward the line. And going over for it was 21-year-old Rennie Stennett. He grabbed the ball on the run and unloaded the ball in a hurry, threw to the plate to get benched for a double play that cut down what would have been a 3-0 lead for Cincinnati. And that play right there turned out to be probably the biggest defensive play of the game. Pittsburgh the winner, 3-2. Tomorrow, Game 4. Pirates lead in the series now, 2-1. It's Grimsley against Doc Ellis tomorrow. On behalf of Tony Kubek, Curt Gowdy wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon from Cincinnati, Ohio. Game 3 for the championship of the National League has been...